Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Asylum podcast. And my thing's wrong again. Move me down. Oh no, something else is clipping it. Lovely.
Oh shit.
How are you all this evening? Welcome. Thank you, Moist Noodle, for that lovely raid. He's got a little bit quiet on us tonight, though. I don't know why.
We now have
I just can't quite put my finger on it.
I think he's got a suntan. That's probably what it is. He's been out in the sun a bit too long and
Yeah.
got a bit frazzled, so it's all good. So, as always, this is our weekly Star Citizen podcast. Even when they have no news, we bring you some news because we bullshit our way through it all. So, welcome everybody.
Guaranteed 10% Star Citizen content.
Guaranteed. That's it. We're gonna have to put that as a slogan. Guaranteed 10% Star Citizen.
I am a bit grumpy today. I think I'm on the period.
So, yeah, and as usual, we're joined by a little bit of madness. Mr. HCVertigo, that's the one. And, of course, the wonderful, slightly tanned and frazzled Moist Noodle. Oh my god, there's two of him.
Slash. The positioning of that sausage is quite inappropriate.
You should have just left it on, but it probably would have been me banned.
The positioning of that noodle, that sausage noodle, whatever it is
sausage noodle. Sausage. Wow.
Hello, everybody. It's me.
There he is. Back again.
We were just saying you were out in the sun too long, so you had a bit of a tan.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I have to say, you look rather scrumptious.
Sorry, I'm missing something. Is that he looks rather pink? Oh, is that the point?
hang on. Let me tweak my do rewatch it because I've been having some issues this evening with my camera. Hang on. Continue without me. Continue without me.
I mean,
I thought that.
right, well, if we
It's easily done.
That's rude. Right. So, yes, this week's Star Citizen has been interesting. How has everybody been finding it this week?
My answer. Boring. Not much to talk about. Podcast is going to finish in 10 minutes. Bye bye, guys.
So yeah,
Have a
that's
nice one.
you. If that doesn't gauge Madness's mood for the evening, that should put you in position. Vertigo, how have you been getting on this week?
Oh, I feel about like madness on this one.
Oh dear.
I am so ready for the next goddamn patch to drop. I don't care how bad 3.3 is. It's just like, can we just move on? There's just so many issues.
Oh, are we feeling like
next?
Are we feeling like
speaking of next,
the kind of wait between patches feels like it's getting shorter and shorter? Like, first of all, we played, like, I don't know, 2.0 for ages, and in each significant patch, it feels like the tolerance for just the lack of content is less and less. It's like we're crying for... It's going to get to the point we're crying for the next patch as it drops. It's like...
That's well, we could if you really want to launch into this, it just feels like the 3.0 branch I'm just so done with, because it drops in December 3.0.
Yeah.
We're still playing the same 3.0 with better frame rates, worse cargo payouts, and mining that almost nobody has access to because we're
They still don't give
locked.
free ship. They still don't give free people free fucking prospectors.
You can't
Which we
buy them in
all
game.
said ages
Can't
ago.
rent them. Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get it one day. It'll be fine. Don't worry.
Oh, it'll be great. Trust me, it'll be great one of these days when it leaves early access, like No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
That was only 2 years. It was only 2 years. Don't worry.
Welcome to those people that actually get to watch us live. Woo! Hello. It's always nice to have people.
Hey there,
'cause I know
Kels.
there's a lot of
Good to see
people.
you.
There's a lot of people who kind of like they watch our YouTube videos and stuff, and I know they would
yeah.
love to be able to catch it live. And yeah.
Oh shit!
I'm
People
really
watch our
glad-
YouTube videos. I'm sorry.
Oh, Miss, did you
Yeah,
have
we
the,
apologise in advance.
Did you have the text up on your overlays yet?
No, because I forgot to add it.
Right.
And it's like, oh shit, I haven't done that yet, so it's okay.
Nah, it's okay. It's all right. It's all good.
I can do it while
sorry
we're
for those
talking
people.
this in-depth discussion
Yes.
that we're having. I'll see if I can find it and add it on.
Yeah, no worries. Go for it. But
no,
no,
it's
I'm
cool.
with HC as well. I agree. I'm next, literally next, please. You can put that in the next name of your next patch as well.
patch.
Call it 3.3 next.
Next.
Somebody else, some other games done that recently and done very well with it. So maybe CIG. You might
For
want to,
those of you who haven't quite figured out what's happened, apparently No Man's Sky released a new patch, and people have accepted it into their hearts as the savior of No Man's Sky.
It is the redemption of No Man's Sky. 100%. It is It proves a few things. That time is a good thing. So hey, Star Citizen, having extra time.
Oh! You know who I saw on Twitter just recently? Sean Murray was tweeting. He was tweeting out on how. Yeah,
go for it. Go for it. No, but you know what he's done though? He's done that recently. He's done an interview. He finally broke his long lost silence about the video that saying we did things wrong, and he's owned up a little bit. He hasn't come out with a full blown apology that lots of people want. But I have to understand this is when you're a CEO and sometimes at this position, showing a sign of weakness of apologizing, you just can't do. And I think I don't need him to apologize in my person. That's me. I'm a fanboy of No Man's Sky because I enjoyed it, but he doesn't need to because for me he already has what I wanted. So
he has already said a few times, "I'm sorry. I probably said things that I shouldn't have said."
He said he hyped it up. He said he'd hyped up the game. His own personal hype for the game, and it hyped it up for everybody else. And
I was on board with Madness there. I was like, our apology is fixing the game. You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Super arrogant, kind of like Hollywood kind of apology. We fixed the game. You're welcome.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, I agree with you. I think that's it. I think that should be enough. That's the reality. The proof is in the. I've always said this before. It's a bit like the movie Field of Dreams. Is if you build it, they will come. And the reality is they built it partially, and it wasn't quite good enough, so people didn't come. Or they did come, and then they were like, "Oh, this is a bit shit." I don't see any invisible ghosts. People playing. It's terrible.
That was just little lights. For people.
And they're like, oh shit, okay, actually, maybe we do need to actually add the ghosts in so people actually come for that. And so they've added them in now, and actually people can see other people and actually enjoy the game. Mm-hmm. So I'm going
to say now that when the game came out, it didn't live up to what I was expecting, but I wasn't necessarily like upset by it. Like I still played it for like 40 hours, I think, and I did enjoy what I played. And I do see a few people, like overall, I'm seeing a lot of people saying they're really enjoying it at the moment. But there are like a handful of people that I'm seeing saying, oh, they burned me on launch, I'll never play it ever again. I'm like, they've got your money. Just play it.
Because you'll enjoy it. At launch, you might as well play it. Yeah. I mean,
you're not proving anything by not playing it.
I've been perusing Reddit and some other social media sites, 4chan, Reddit, Twitch, and there is some serious hurt feelings over No Man's Sky. Yeah. I mean, some people are holding on to this whole thing.
It's crazy, right?
Reddit does do that to you, though.
Bitter.
Yeah, I mean, Reddit is a bit like that. They kind of, you get the extremes on Reddit for certain. I think the majority of people have kind of let that go. I mean, there's always going to be people that say have been burnt by it, but I mean, it's, to me, like, so I had this kind of discussion with Madness on my Discord for a bit, and we
had a great chat about it, actually.
I feel the hurt and annoyance was well justified. I know Madness disagrees, that's fine, but I feel like it was justified at the point of when it was released. However, it was clear pretty much before it was released that the game didn't have what it first promised. So if you were still going into it and buying it, and plus I think every store gave you a refund straight after it as well. So they like you had plenty of time to go, fuck this, the bloke lied, I quit, and get a full refund. And so to me, it's like, if you still bought it and then just sat there and bitched about it, it's kind of your own fault. Like, but it's annoying that he lied and it was like that. But really, you had an opportunity to get your refund and come back to it as it is now. Really.
But my counter to that is going to be that for people like you and me who pay a lot of attention generally to the games industry and to especially sci-fi games, it was kind of obvious. But to the casual gamer who might have only seen like a trailer for No Man's Sky, not quite.
That's
so
my
obvious.
problem with those people, and that's my thing. Is like, how many trailers have you watched which look fucking amazing, and then you go to the cinema and the movie sucks ass? How many games have we seen that promise a lot and then they suck ass? Loads. For me, it's not a question of, was No Man's Sky wrong? Yes. But for me, it was like they got so, like, for an indie gaming company, they got so much shit from the community that, in my opinion, was unjust level of shit compared to other gaming companies who are big behemoths that have delivered garbage upon garbage upon garbage games and asked full price for them. EA, you know who you are. I just think that for them they got shafted. Now I think it was I agree with Miz. They overpriced. Shouldn't have been $60. They should have charged less. And they should have probably. I think if they again, it's that if they had labeled it early access, No Man's Sky. If they had thrown early access at it, I don't think anyone would have blinked an eye at it. And if they'd chucked it in at 20 pounds, 30 quid, no one would have said shit.
But that's just it. He should have put early access on it. It would have saved a lot of shit. But then, like you said, it wasn't all his decision. You had publishers, and that's what publishers do.
You know what? I have to completely agree with Insombrax in chat. He says No Man's Sky did more in 2 years than Star Citizen did in 7. Yeah, you know what? No Man's Sky has planets. It has water. It has weather.
So here's the question.
And I can hit enemy targets in my ship.
When did No Man's Sky start development?
Okay,
sarcasm, by the way, everyone.
2014.
No,
nearest I can find is 2014.
Let's be honest. Like, he's nailed exactly where we're going. Thank you for stealing the thunder, whoever you are. Someone kick him out of chat because that's where we were going, and thank you for spoiling it.
Kick him out of chat.
You literally spoiled where I was going. I'm only joking. But no, you're absolutely right. 12 people are Hello Games developers, okay, and in 2 years they've done that improvement to the game. Star Citizen has an employment of 500 people. And in 2 years, we have gone backwards in some things, gone forwards in other things, but we have gone seriously backwards. We have a massive, they have a planet. I watched a great video. There's a guy called Stephen Mockings, put some YouTube videos up, which are hilarious because he just cuts to the bone of some of the things that are embarrassing about Star Citizen. Because like Chris Roberts bigs up the fact that, the map trailer was the size of Farscape? No, not Farscape. What's the game? Was it Far Cry or no?
Freelancer.
No, it was Skyrim. He said this trailer that we've done at Star Citizen is the same map size as Skyrim, and then he literally paused it and he goes, but it doesn't have the gameplay. It doesn't have female characters. It doesn't have an actual story. It doesn't have anything of any fun. And he just listed out all these things. So it's actually like, well, it's just big.
Just mass. That's all it is.
Like, I was just having a lengthy discussion with viewers on my stream about Elite Dangerous, and that is the thing. Elite Dangerous, massive. Yeah. But there's fuck all to do, excuse my language. So...
No Man's Sky had the same problem. For 2 years, it was, again, massive, but with very repetitive, boring kind of gameplay. Now, there's still a degree of that in there. That's not going to change because that's their game model. But they keep adding so many other things. Base building. The alien worlds look glorious. You can play with your friends or on your own.
Madness. I'm gonna have to be the Star Citizen fanboy and say, when did No Man's Sky start development?
2012 was Star Citizen, right? 2012.
2014 through No Man's Sky, right?
No Man's Sky started.
When did its development start? Now, it could be argued that No Man's Sky wasn't fun from its start of its development till its release, and then 2 years later.
It's 2016 video game developed by British Studios.
I think that's when it was released.
It started in, it says here, co-founder Sean Murray, sometimes during the development of Joe Danger 2, which was in 2012. Compared, the onset development rose 2012, about the same sort of time to... Yeah, because the Kickstarters were around about the same time. I remember because everyone was saying, is there space for Star Citizen and No Man's Sky? And he gave the game its blessing, Chris Roberts. And because they did procedural tech and everyone was comparing Star Citizen's procedural. And they came out early with it. And then everyone was like, oh, look, no, procedural sucks ass because it's all the same and it looks weird.
All goofy, it looks super goofy or it looks all the same.
Yeah, and they slated it, and everyone was like, Star Citizen fanboys were all like, oh, look, see, this fucking shit, ha, you should have done it our way, woo. And then now it's like 2 years later, all the No Man's Sky people are going, fuck you, look at our game.
We have a game,
It's brilliant, right?
That's one of the problems I have with Chris Roberts. Like, yeah, great, man, you're swinging for the fences, you're gonna knock one out of the park, but what the fuck? How long is this shit gonna take? There are backers from 2012 and 2013 that just wanted another fucking Freelancer. That's all they wanted. They wanted Freelancer with multiplayer tacked on it. Freelancer 2, that's all they fucking wanted. Or another Wing Commander game. And now they're stuck with whatever the fuck Star Citizen is.
We're getting Squadron 42
disposable. In terms of the problem is people's expectations. No, I agree. You're right, 100%. There's definitely expectations on it. But I think just about the Sean Murray thing, he took a hit for Sony because he didn't want to damage it's my opinion. Okay, right. I think he took a hit, so he didn't want to damage a reputation and a business deal with Sony. Because if you think about it, if I'm a small company, I don't want to fuck up fuck my relationship with an enormous company like Sony, do I? Let's be honest.
They were incredibly lucky to get that. I don't know if you know the story about how No Man's Sky really became as hyped as it did. But they were working on that internally for quite a while. And a friend of mine, Sean Murray. Yeah, my mate
Sean Murray. He come over and had a chat about it. It was funny.
I've had a lot of wine, and I've had some Monster this evening. The combination of both has gone to my head. A friend of Sean Murray's, who was a gaming journalist, basically saw what they had so far and said, you have to bring this to, I can't remember which gaming show it was, and just do a presentation of it, just show something. And it might have even been an awards show, but he went, and literally from that night where they showed that, like, everybody on the internet was hyped about No Man's Sky, and it just like exploded from there. So, but I think you're right. I think Sean Murray did kind of take the hit because, if you screw up that relationship with Sony, nobody will ever work with you ever again.
Yeah, same with Hollywood. It's like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of dumb bullshit that happens in Hollywood that nobody talks about because you still want to have a job at the end of the week. If you start flapping your mouth, ain't nobody gonna fucking hire you. You get blackballed.
It's a small business. You don't realize how small the business is. If you see people's CVs, the games they've been working on, they all kind of like similar to my industry in footwear. It's like you burn bridges at your own peril. You know what I mean? It's like you can leave companies and be respectful.
I've been told this by a couple of Star Citizen devs that I've spoken to in person, and they've said you'll be surprised how small the gaming industry is. All you have to do is piss off one producer and you're screwed.
Yeah.
Pretty much. No, it's it
gets around.
That's why. That's for me is why. That's for me why. I don't know if I've seen many people say that, but I firmly believe that's the reason.
And here's on that one. Now again, from the Star Citizen fanboy, I have to argue that No Man's Sky is on a slightly different scale than Star Citizen, the MMO.
Completely agree.
Vastly different.
Yeah, and also I don't know what engine is used for No Man's Sky, but realistically, when you look at the game, there's not that much that's groundbreaking in No Man's Sky. Really,
procedural tech was pretty fucking groundbreaking.
But it had
been done before with other games. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Procedural tech is not this new thing that's been done before a long time.
No.
And to be fair, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, to be fair, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing with Star Citizen has been done before as well, but the way that it's being done is different.
That's the thing. That's when No Man's Sky, for me, it's the same thing. It's they did it in a different way. No one had done it before, in my opinion, with the procedural tech. That was special, and they got in there before Star Citizen with it. And you got to remember, is like Apple. Again, I use this as an example. Apple were not the first person to create the iPod, digital information. That was somebody else. It's just that they marketed it in a way that looked good and was fun and stuff. There's if anyone's
and they overcharge as well.
You could go back
to
Egypt. You could go back to some. Honestly, there is probably only 10%, maybe even 5% of stuff that's actually truly original in the world that comes on every now and again. The majority is just rehashing and reworking of other things that happens.
There's
only a small percentage of geniuses out there.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say you could go back to Egypt like several thousand years ago and there'd be a man.
I think he was going to say that, and he changed his mind. It's like
I was going to say
boom boxes.
The thing is, my point is with that is like you can always find usually something. You can go back on stuff. There's always someone that's created something. To truly think that your original is very tiny percentage of really truly come up with something original. And originality is again a matter of how you perceive originality. It's like taking something from here and something from here and adding something together to create something new. Fatboy Slim does it with his music. He takes samples. Sampling is like revolutionized the world of music, and people could say, is that new? Is that original? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Some people say it's not. Some people say it is. But in my head,
it's just the new face of music, though.
It's like flavor in it. It's different.
Most musicians these days don't know how to play their own instruments.
Is it better? Is it better though? That's the thing. Then he gets the object. Your opinion.
It's art, taste. It's objective.
Yeah.
But anyways, exactly. As you can understand, a lot of people are thrilled by the new No Man's Sky Next update.
Very much.
We think that Sean Murray has redeemed himself a little bit and brought honor back to his family. Or
back upon my clan.
Brought honor back to his ancestors.
So
you may return to the halls
kind
of
linking in with that. Moist in his wine. So, like, part of the reason I think with Star Citizen we've had some of these pushed out patches, or they're kind of the way we've now got this Evocati even section, is that they're trying to, although it's not really worked out that way, but the PU is meant to be a little bit more of a polished shine that they can let everybody see compared to the other test beds and the PTU. Because obviously we know that Star Citizen has also had a lot of bad press over the years. It's game magazines, if they do something wrong or they miss a date, they all jump on it and slag it off
very
to
similar
hell.
to Sean, actually. Chris
So what I was going to say was, in terms of, like, we obviously been following it, so we see that all these ups and downs and changes. Now, I think the company, it seems to me, has reacted to the bad press, and it seems like they're worried about it, and so they're doing things to protect themselves from that. And I think No Man's Sky, to a certain degree, is a good way of showing that although you're getting all this bad press along the way, by the time it comes out, as long as you release it and it's fucking amazing, it doesn't matter how much of that bad press they've had in games magazines and shit. As long as when it comes out, you've got all these games magazines giving it 9 out of 10, 99%. Oh, this is amazing, and it wins all these fucking awards and everything. I think everybody that doubts it's just gonna go, yeah, I'll play it, and they'll go and buy it. I think CIG worry too much about the bad press in its current state. See, the difference between No Man's Sky and Star Citizen is No Man's Sky, he did actually release the game, and that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. So he's managed to pull back his reputation after lying, after releasing the game.
2 years of hard work.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, so Star Citizen hasn't broken any promises yet because it hasn't actually released.
Well,
this is my understanding.
You still can't say that until it's released, can you? Then you can say, well, you've broken it all. But he's broken the promises of release dates. We can definitely say that.
He's done that, and there's
but then the argument is, you can easily now say, well, look at No Man's Sky. If I released it early, this is what you would have got. Is that what you all wanted? No, you want the finished product. That's why we've delayed it.
Well, they can already stamp release on it right now and just let us eat shit. I mean, let us have the live PU. And say, well, it's released, everybody, good luck.
No different to No Man's Sky, enjoy it.
Yeah. No Man's Sky got away with it, we'll do the same.
I think you have to ask yourself, you have to kind of go, is the scale and the scope of the game, like, I'm trying to do the math on, I know where people say diminishing returns and all this stuff about staff, okay? But you have to kind of go, is the scale of the game versus this, like, if you use like No Man's Sky as an example of like scale to size of staff, and you kind of go, is this 500 people enough for the scope of what Star Citizen is attempting to do in terms of everything they seem to say versus like No Man's Sky? And I look at what No Man's Sky does, and I go, well, they've got vehicles on ground, they've got mining, they've got combat in space, they've got alien worlds. Like, this is my biggest thing is like, not being funny, we go down onto our planets, they just look like, it's very realistic, I know, but it's like, it's just a desolate moon versus
I think in defense of Star Citizen a bit though is they could probably do exactly what No Man's Sky's done. It's because because the weather, it's not like No Man's Sky, you go on it and it says you're cold. You don't necessarily see tons of, like, you don't see these wind whipping tornadoes come through and different biomes. You're just cold and you have that frost effect thing on there. Well, I haven't.
And also something to bear in mind is you say about the vehicles, and they have 3 ground vehicles, right?
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
And
we have what, 4?
And then the ships are literally just procedural blocks that go together.
How many have we got currently? We've got
ships, 141 ships or something?
Don't work very well.
There's the Dragonfly.
But look how many ships we've got. Like, what I'm trying to say is that the ships in No Man's Sky are procedural.
And you do the very, very old technique of just teleporting the character into the ship.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
You are the ship.
Yeah.
You are the dude. You can't get out of your seat
and that's a great example. Walk around. Like, just trying to animate the character to go into the ship and sit properly in the ship is just a huge thing in itself.
They made a choice. In that game, obviously, to say, does the gamer really need to have this in order to enjoy the game? And they probably went,
well, that's the choice they made, but that's not what Star Citizen doing.
That's an artistic thing. So they have gone for the style of like a 1960s/1970s, 1950s, whatever, science fiction novel cover, whereas Star Citizen is going for full-on sort of cinematic movie styling.
But then it's like, well, okay, so they're going for a really up-spec visuals and all the rest of it. That's great. That's fine. I always would argue that the people don't just play games just because they look good. It's like going to the movies to watch a film that looks good.
I mean,
we can just go to watch them look good. It's
we can go back to the question where you said, like, Do we need this in Star Citizen for Star Citizen to be fun? No. Look at Minecraft. Look at Terraria. Look at Starbound.
It doesn't need it. It's what they've chosen.
Doesn't need it.
It's what they've chosen, and that's
their
their
choice.
choice. That's their choice. But then my point is like the stat, like the number of people to create what they've created at that, and then I kind of go, is there, is Star Citizen planning, resourcing, all this stuff any good? Are they honestly? Are they? I mean, have they done a good job? I don't think they have. And do you think they will? Do you think they'll improve? Do you think it'll get better? Do you think, because 2 years like for No Man's Sky and they've done all this, and I just go, in 2 years, Star Citizen.
So did you just say they haven't done a good job, CIG? I think that's incredibly unfair to say.
For the number of
have they made mistakes? Yes.
For the number of people, I'm talking about. For the number of people,
we are seeing a tiny percentage of what they've worked on so far. A lot of those people have been working on stuff that we have never seen and we won't see for a while.
See, I think a big problem. So I've been thinking about this earlier, and I think a big part of what's causing the issues is the animation, because this is something that was stopped Squadron 42. I think the first time. It's what we're not seeing at the moment, and I think the animation is really slowing up development. Especially even for Squadron 42, because you can see because of, like you just said, the path that they've chosen to do, which is like interacting with boxes, picking up the cargo boxes and things like that. You imagine that once you've done that, it's go, well, now we've got to pick up glasses that you see. Oh, if I've got to pick up glasses, I'm going to have to be able to pick up that Coke can that's there. Oh, then when we pick it up, we have to be able to look at it. And so there's so many animation upon animation upon, like the level of detail once you go down that line is crazy. And
that's why a lot of games don't bother with that.
Yeah, because you can imagine the amount of work, and I think that's what's happened with Squadron 42, and why we just keep not getting it, and it keeps getting delayed, because we're not getting, like, even recently, like on some of the recent ATVs, we've seen the AI, and they shoot at it, and it's shooting all over the place. Like we're not even there with AI and with animation, and so this is like, if you think Squadron 42 is going to be coming out anytime soon, it's not, because they haven't nailed the animation down, because you need to get that going because that is probably the crux of this game, is the animation and the interaction, and we haven't got that.
All of it. I mean, I've seen some. I mean, we saw they've obviously done the mocap. They've got some great actors. Obviously done that. They've got a good story, I believe, for Squadron 42. I think Squadron 42 will be fantastic, but it's just. Like I said, I'm sorry. I stand by. It's like question. Just kind of. I constantly just kind of go in. For 180 million, 500 members of staff, 2 games they're trying to do at the same time. Mm-hmm. I constantly hear my old man
6
saying
years,
to me, like, too much bitten off, too much bitten off, too much bitten off. He's just like constantly repeating in my ears, just like, I think it's too much. And I think how long will we have to wait for it? Is the truth.
Honest,
I mean, it could be all right.
I've thought that a lot from Star Citizen, because the problem is that the route they've gone down is fantastic, like what they want to do, and I get pushing the boundaries, and I get like making things groundbreaking, but if you're trying to make everything groundbreaking, trying to push the boundaries on every angle, this is what's happening. The development takes so much longer, because it's like you can't. There's just so much work that you've got to do on every single aspect, and the real question is, yes, is it needed? Like, because it's just like when you hear them talking about, say, the repair mechanics. Now, it started off saying that you're going to be able to go out, you're going to see your ship in different layers, and you'll be able to get your tool over it and do the first layer, then you get your tool and get the second layer, and then you do the third layer. Like, all of that sounds fantastic until you think about it logically and think, well, when I'm in a game, how is that even going to work? Okay, so let's say you do it layer by layer. Now, at the moment, you pick up cargo. Are you going to go and pick up a sheet of metal, fly around to the side of your ship, push the piece of metal down, and then weld it? Because if you don't do that, then how's the metal going to get there? Is it just going to automatically be placed? So like, you've got problems like that, where once you go into that sort of level of detail, where does it stop? Where do you say, right, this bit needs to be automatic and this bit needs to be the bit where we repair it?
Where we say good enough?
Because we've already seen now that they've taken away grav boots, because grav boots were too difficult for them to do. Now, that would have been a big part of the repair mechanic, and going around the outside and repairing a ship. So
they got rid of the meg boots because they found an easier solution, which is the EVA thrusters will just push you down. Done. Yeah. We don't need to build another system. We just use the EVA thrusters to push you down onto something. Done. Finished.
Here's my thing. Have you seen
it doesn't work on a ship?
Have we seen it work?
No, they've promised.
They've just said it, but they haven't seen it. Until Doubting Thomas here. This is Doubting Thomas here. You know,
exactly.
Again, you can only have so much trust from me. If you,
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
because so many times they've said, "Oh, we have this great idea," but I think a big part of it is misconstruing them saying we're trying something rather than we're doing something. You know?
Yeah, we're doing something.
Yeah. I mean, we're bashing hard on them, and I think that they should be bashed hard because that's just the way. You know, 180 million development cost when I'm playing another game and I'm going.
Thank you. 10 million. Come on.
190. Yeah, 190.
I mean, we're all fans. We're all fans of the project. We want what's best for the project, and sometimes it's like, really, why are we spending all this time on this really, really detailed animation system when you got No Man's Sky over here, a perfectly good video game? You know, just had this really. It's fun to play. It's fun to play. Look at this. We're having fun over here. Why can't we have fun over here?
How much money has Candy Crush made to date?
I mean, the other thing with that as well, though, with the No Man's Sky thing as well, though, is the difference, I think, between the two games as well, is I think No Man's Sky not being funny, but I can imagine it getting boring still. I think you can get a good playtime now out of the value of the money, but I don't think it will last long. Whereas I think Star Citizen is trying to build itself in a way that, like WoW, Eve, all those sort of games that will just go on forever. So that I can't imagine. No Man's Sky doing that. I mean, I'm going to
point something out. Can I point something out? Right. So I just made the joke about Candy Crush, right? And like we're comparing Star Citizen to No Man's Sky, and you can't really compare it, right? Candy Crush is making $230 million annually.
The billions. They've made billions by now. Games like Clash of Clans advertised during the American Super Bowl, which is ridiculous. Like a mobile video game advertises during the American Super Bowl. That is ridiculous amount of money.
Who's the biggest person that plays the Candy Crush? I bet you it's women.
Yeah, I think women and people that don't play computer games mostly.
I would guess
they don't have PCs, do they? They sit on tablets and stuff.
Think how much money Star Citizen could potentially tap if you think about that as we don't even have female characters in game, and you know, it's like, if they could get women involved, interested in this type of a game, the potential that is mind blowing.
But I think the difference with mobile games like that and games like Star Citizen is, like, with mobile games, it's very accessible and very easy to spend money on.
Well, yeah, of course. That's
very easy to spend on.
We don't want loot boxes.
But
yeah,
let's get.
New
I mean, in terms of
new ship, bye.
I've completely lost. What did you say before? Moist completely derailed me.
Sorry. About Candy Crush. Before Candy Crush, you were talking about EVA thrusters pushing you down. Star Citizen
$190 million
promises. $190 million.
Hang on, let me just rewind the podcast for you, man.
Someone clip the last five.
Man down. Keep moving. Just keep moving. This is push forward.
I had a point against what you were saying.
I had a point. It's done.
I feel like we should talk about Star Citizen a little bit more, unless you want me to talk about Eve Online.
Well, I would say, hang on, no. Do you know what? You've just triggered it. That was what I was going to say.
Longevity.
Longevity. That was it. You were talking about longevity and about like the longevity of Star Citizen versus No Man's Sky. Now, I think No Man's Sky potentially has the chance to become like it, because people forget when Eve came out, it was a very small game. And over time, they added bits. They kept adding bits and building the game and making the game more and more, adding economy. They obviously had an idea or an image, but it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger over time. No Man's Sky, I feel, if they commit to it and continue to commit to it and put resources and money and add things like they could grow that into a very, very big game.
If they work as hard as they have done the last two, and rather than Elite Dangerous, if they do that and actually think of... It's basically down to the vision that they would have for the future and what they can add to the game, because it's like Sea of Thieves keeps trying to chuck out like weekly content, which I know other games have tried to do that and failed eventually, because there's only so fast your developers can work, and doing weekly content it's not that easy. But yeah, so they could. As its current state, I'm saying it's probably not got much longevity, but if they keep developing it, if they've got good ideas for the future, rather than just saying, we'll stick some more aliens in that'll make it sexier, that's not going to cut it. It's got to have some sort of thing that's going to keep pulling you back. But it can do.
Like Kay says in chat, he says, just look at Warframe. Look at Warframe. That was a free game to come out, and look how it reached. And I fast forward to 2018. Doing better than Destiny.
It's probably the best free-to-play game out there. And making money from it as well.
Making money to continue development. money to continue development. No Man's Sky could become the next Elite Dangerous. I mean, they could just keep adding starships and just keep adding different biomes and whatnot. You just go around, explore, bust up planets, adding more shit you can do on planets, farming, base building, shipbuilding. Eventually, boom, you're an MMO. So one day you wake up and your stupid little game is now an MMO.
Yeah. And it's like, I think the thing is that what No Man's Sky, obviously, like all things, is like you can kind of potentially grow out of your game engine. I think that's always the risk, isn't it? The reality of it, growing out of your game engine and then needing to update it and stuff. But I think once you've already established all those,
didn't EVE Online do that? Didn't they have to rewrite their game engine one for like a release or something?
I think Star Trek Online's done it a few times. Probably not majorly, but they've had to rewrite stuff a few times.
And they
that's because they kept burning through developers.
It still works when they're still going. So
yeah, I see that, and then I kind of think of Star Citizen, and I don't know. It's just I'm not a game developer. I've never made any games, so I hold my hands up. But I just ask those awkward questions. That's the way I always.
I think part of it, we kind of like us. The funny thing is, us going around in a kind of circle, us moaning about Star Citizen is the same reason why people moan about No Man's Sky. It's because we've bought into it and we've invested into it, and it's like it's not. I'm not saying it's crash and burn like No Man's Sky, but it's like it's because we worry about it. We want it to be released and we want it to be awesome. And it's kind of like you sit there worrying about it, going, "Well, when is it going to be released and be awesome?" Because we need it.
I think saying that we're moaning about it is the wrong word. I think it's more of a
critical.
Case of
highly
we
critical
are
about
obviously going to be critical
because
when we're talking.
I
about,
get that, but people will say we're moaning about it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm about as salty as tin sardines over here. What are you talking about?
All this stuff. No, I mean, I don't care. People can call it what it is, but I like to just ask the questions. And if people can't answer the questions with informed information in return and give me a reason why, then we've touched on a point that's valid. Do you know what I mean? I think.
Well, here's my. Can I counter you just a little bit there, Madness? If you allow me.
As long as it doesn't make anyone cry. Like okay.
Well, I can. I can make fun of people's mothers. Right? Is that against Twitch terms of service?
Probably not on Miz's stream to do it.
Okay, so I was a mechanic for a few years, and when a mechanic did a job like a fairly major overhaul of any piece of equipment, usually the more senior mechanics, the more experienced mechanics, I should say, usually their work areas would look like an absolute mess while they're proceeding on the job, and things would slowly start to clean up as the job progressed. And once the job got finished, once they got everything back together, you were amazed on how everything finally looked. When all the pins started falling back and the bolts started going back in. And I always considered it like almost like an artist, like Bob Ross. Like you watch Bob Ross paint a painting and it just looks like an absolute fucking mess. And then it gets to that one point where it all just clicks together and suddenly, I see a mountain, I see a tree, there's a cabin over there.
We're waiting for that click. Is that what
we're waiting for that click right now? Everything's just a goddamn mess and we can't recognize a game.
I'm laughing because my CEO keeps having a go at me because like my entire work area is a complete shit tip at work. I'm like, that's because all of these things are for sale. Okay.
Here's my view on this one. This is good if the guy who's doing the painting is Bob Ross. If the person doing it is like my son of 3-year-old or me doing it, we've never done anything, then be worried. I think. Okay, here's the thing, okay? Because I don't want to go on about this too much. I don't want to bash too much, but, we do have a person who's leading the charge who got fired from a previous game for lateness and over micro fucking management, okay?
So at least he hasn't changed.
Freelancer. A game released in 2007.
No, but the thing is, it's not really, again, the date, ignore that it's the it's the way they conduct themselves. There is a chance of Leopard can't change its sports necessarily. There's the reality of
that just
bad habits.
Right there.
Bad habits. No, but it does. Bad habits come creep back in.
Several successful projects before Freelancer.
Never mind
putting Wing Commander.
He produced, but he wasn't running the show at the time, though, was he?
He produced
the last game. I think
the last he was the director for like Wing Commander 3 and 4.
Directing, it's different. There's a bigger team, and it's not the final person having the final. This is his whole baby, and I just think there may be one or two of the bad again. It's like there's a
leopard can't change his spot, but you're saying a man can't grow out of bad habits. A man can't learn from his mistakes.
I think you can. No,
dumb animal.
You can learn from your mistakes and you overcome them, and I'm hoping this is the one to show that he can. But I
And
still
I have
think
faith
that,
that he has. That's what I believe.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm just
your
saying.
question.
You have
That's
to
fine. This is your personal.
recognize-
Go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
you have to recognize that there could be like those small problems he had when he was a publisher. Now that he's running the show, could be coming a little bit bigger in terms of like being super obsessive about the tiniest little thing. Could be a slight reason why we're having problems.
Potentially.
And they
But
were
keep in
problems in
mind,
the
he
previous
has-
game. Was spotted by a publisher. It was having an effect on their release dates. I don't.
And
It's different. So
Like
he
every
fixed the problem
other
he's got.
titan of industry, Chris Taylor, Richard Garriott, they've all had stinkers. They've all had stinkers in their past.
Yeah.
Ultima 9, Total Annihilation Kingdoms. You can go through the entire list of John Romero, the guys who did it. They all had bad games in their. Doom 3 was poorly received. There's always going to be that, and you want to talk about Wing Commander the movie? Oh, there's been a bunch of
Wait, there's a
really
movie?
bad. There's a Wing Commander movie. I recommend everybody go watch it. It's awful.
Can I just, for Disposable and Langdon, do you know what's interesting is you're blaming Microsoft, the same thing that No Man's Sky fanboys blamed Sony but didn't get.
I'm not blaming Microsoft for anything.
No, not you. It's chat. I'm just saying because in
chat.
chat they're doing the fanboy thing about Microsoft, and I'm just going to just use an example of another game that got the same shit about Sony, but just throw it in there.
A publisher is designed to rein in. The publisher is the bean counter. They're the people that front the money up to get the investment back in spades. Like EA, Activision, these people give the developer money, a giant fucking paycheck, and then they expect billions back, or 10 times their return back over the several years. Yeah. Well,
how does that work? How does that work?
They've
called us the publishers. I mean, even
our return is the game.
The guy in
Our
Germany,
return is the game. That's it.
Axel Rose from I forgot his name now. Brian. Is it Brian Chambers?
Brian Chambers?
Brian Chambers? Am I going right with the name? Or am I going completely?
I have no
wrong?
idea.
The guy in Germany that runs the office.
Yeah,
Brian Chambers.
Brian Chambers. He has referred to us, and he's a very high up man. He referred to us as the publishers of them.
That could just be an empty platitude.
I think that's his own personal opinion. Rather than...
Still opinion. It's still opinion.
It's one of those things you say to people to make them feel better. Like, oh, you're an excellent, a Trumpism. I hate to dredge it up.
So you're
He's
just
a great guy, excellent, best people. You don't. Your return on your investment into Star Citizen is the game.
Yeah,
that is it.
Okay.
So if you get a little indignant because people are dropping so much goddamn money on Star Citizen, it's just like you point out to them, hey, you're paying for them to build the game, and you get some cool little keychains, electronic keychains to some spaceships. That's it.
Wait, hang on. How are we getting keychains to unlock our ships now in Star Citizen? Yes. That'd be amazing.
Just wave her like a fob
Love it.
in front of the
fob,
thing.
just wave it at it.
But if it's anything like mine, it's like fucking badges.
You don't like a publisher. You don't have an invested stake in the company. You don't get any monetary returns unless CIG decides to open up like a community store where you can have community skins sold there. So I mean, like, it's silly to spend $4,500 over 6 years on Star Citizen, have regrets about it, and try to take them to small claims court, and then have your lawsuit rejected because you didn't read the TOS.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the deals, and I can't comment on that. I mean, I firmly.
Well, that was in the news recently.
I agree with Astro. Yeah, I don't know the full details, so I don't want to comment completely, but I know that Astropub mentioned on his show about he felt that after a certain point, if you're an early backer and you haven't received what was originally promised in that period of time, especially as we talked about the other day about Soon in Germany and TM, I firmly believe they should be entitled to a percentage of a refund at that period of time. I firmly believe, but once a certain point has passed. We're not, Star Citizen isn't a bank for people to put their money in to keep it there indefinitely. They need to spend it. I come back to calling the question. I know people say, "Oh, you're crazy and asking for this," but I would love to know how much has been badly spent. If I'm honest, because it is our money.
The whole Aphonic debacle.
Yeah, I was going to say any outsourcing that they did. Woo, that's gone.
That's what I mean. I'd like to know how much. I would like to know how much the buildings cost. I'd like to know how much the overall the bad where the bad money has gone and how much has been spent? I'd like to know
Manchester.
that. I'd like to know how much they make on subs every month as well. I would like to know that as well as a guaranteed information.
I believe Manchester, their filings are public because of the tax.
Cost them 10 grand for the
limited company.
building. Cost them 2 grand for the tables. 50 quid for the computer. No, just kidding.
10 grand for
10 grand for the coffee
had me.
machine.
That's what he was talking about.
I don't need to know everything. I don't want them to tell me every single thing, but I definitely would like to have, like, even if you did like a kind of in arrears, so you showed what was spent, like in student loans, you get like a year previously kind of like information on how much you spent, so you still have a whole year to, you don't get everything up to date, but you get a chunk to show what they've spent. It would be
the thing is, I don't.
Some people say
the
we
whole
counterintuitive.
the whole crowdfunding thing though is you don't like just because Star Citizen has taken a hell of a long time. Like any other crowdfunding game, or not just game but thing. So like I just crowdfunded Critical Role's model thing, and like I don't see any of the progress. I'm just going to wait until there's a knock on the door and says, "Here's your product." Like
yes,
they're not going to tell me what they're spending it on. They're not going to tell me where. Like their Kickstarter was for something like 10,000 and they've made like 100,000. Like they're not going to say, well, we put the rest of that into making a bigger build. You just don't see any of that. Literally, you see nothing, even less than you see from Star Citizen. You're just going to wait till the knock on the door. And then
I still see people bring up the whole offices, them building offices, as a negative, and I'm just like, I have to bring up that image of the crowdfunding stretch goal where it says $2 million. What it was two of their $1 million stretch goals. We're gonna build offices.
Yeah.
And it was just like people like, look at all this expensive bullshit they have. Well, for one, there's leasing and rentals, and number two, here's $2 million the fans gave them to build this bullshit.
That's what you read, what you're backing. If you read and when you do the Kickstarter and things like that, it tells you what your money is going towards, what it's building, what it's all part of that. If you didn't read that, it's like
I'm actually kind of soured that they're not continuing offering stretch goals, considering how much money they've dragged in. If we still had just like some dumb bullshit,
how can they add any more stretch goals?
They are. It's called concept ships. Those are your stretch goals. And 2 years for your medical. There's your medical ship coming in.
They'd have to break it down to like January you get hamsters, February you get gerbils, and like they just break down all the different pets you get month by month.
Then next year you get a tube of lube.
It was getting silly. I'm glad they stopped it personally. They had to stop it.
Yeah. Okay.
It was getting silly. That's just my view on it. But yeah, no, just bashed them a little bit at the moment, just because I can, and I'm still waiting on flight model to work good.
Me too.
3.2 has been out long enough that we've started to get salty again. Wait till we get 3.3.
It's like I said before, it's the same game. We're still playing 3.0 with better frame rate and crappier cargo runs and mining that almost nobody has access to.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Well, I mean, 3.3. Oh, let's see. We got the roadmap. Miz is not listening. He's got his headphones off. He's got the roadmap. I've seen the kind of.
He's been interdicted by the missus.
Yeah, it's been well, we had a fight earlier, Moist, in the game.
Right. Well, not an actual like.
Oh, I thought
not actual fight.
What did I miss then?
Not in love with each other. That's awkward. I don't know why I said that.
We had
still friends.
We had a fun. It was fun. It was enjoyable because like Moist was in and he was chatting and then
it's the makeup sex. That's what it was.
I came in to watch his show, and the first thing he does, which triggered me straight away. So if anyone wants to know how to trigger me if I'm watching them, is he pad camped somebody. So some poor person was on the recovery at Cryastro. I'm sorry.
It was an eclipse. Any torpedo bomber deserves to die.
Yeah,
I agree. Fucking agree. Retaliator,
and I was in an Aurora.
Raven,
throwing
Warlock,
that out there.
you're gonna die.
You know what? If I didn't realize you were destroying an eclipse, I might let you off a little bit. But
Thank
anyway,
you.
We're gonna let them off with a warning.
They were doing
I'm
what
gonna
the
let you off
ship
with a
is
warning.
designed for.
But what happened was, I'm going to let you off with a warning now that I know what you were destroying. But I saw it happen very quickly and I was like, oh my God, this is shocking. Okay. So I was like,
Moist, what happened to you?
I didn't educate this boy in combat to do this type of behavior. This is outrageous. So I'm
gonna have to write a stern letter to his publisher.
Right. hang on a minute, we have to educate, we have to do what's going on here, Moist. Like, how dare you? You're now on my list of people that I am now going to come in and equal the score. And then you were like, what did you come back with? I was very proud of you, I have to say. You were like, bring it, something like that. I was like, yes, okay, I'm going to bring it now. So I came in and did not realize he had his wing compartment compadre with him, who, by the way, is very good. Fighting him again at some point properly where his ship doesn't blow up.
He crashed. I'm just set, like,
yeah, he crashed.
Crashed.
Yeah, which was a shame because I had to switch off of you because he was fucking me up. So I was like,
I noticed you were very red.
I was like, switch off him and go after the other guy. But and then so then we I killed him obviously because he crashed, and then killed you, which was fun, and then left. But the thing I found crazy was Moist and me are in the same country. Okay, surprise, surprise. He's English. I'm English. Well, we live in England anyway, or Britain or whatever. Anyway, we had more desync and lag than if he was in Australia.
And that was a European server. It was insane. I don't know if you were watching my stream, but you would be there 1 second and then you were behind me. I was like, what's going on?
It was shocking. It was really shocking.
But it's okay. It made me look better because I survived for like 3 minutes against you.
It didn't make you look good. But what was fun was about it was like, again, was that I could actually jump in fairly quickly with the SSD drive and get in and play fairly quickly, which was nice. Load up my ship, get into my ship, put weapons on my ship, which was really, really cool. I really liked that. That was applaud. I mean, like I said, I rip CIG if I want to, but a big applaud. Talk about improvements. I mean, there is an improvement right there. So that was pretty good. Not always the case. Normally it is not always the case, but it was great to be able to do that and to join on you and stuff really quickly. So good job.
The SSD makes such a huge difference. It really does.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. But I did find it. I can. Would you like me to pour a little bit of salt over that madness?
And he always needs a little bit of salt. We say make it better.
Bit of seasoning.
Flavor.
Is what you're trying to say.
Seasoning.
If you buy any items in the persistent universe, it is actually very easily to permanently lose those items. Some of these items can be upwards of 18,000 UEC. AUEC. Some of the weapons can be quite expensive as well. And considering the income rate for most people, because the missions are all fucked up and cargo running is exceptionally messed up as well. But I did find a workaround to keep your equipment and weapons. And someone actually begged me not to share this, but fuck them. Fuck them.
Don't share it. Don't share it.
Please don't share this. The CIG's gonna patch it out.
Tell you the secrets ever again. Tell me after the stream.
If you have a ship that gets destroyed, do not claim it immediately. Go back to exit the menu, rejoin the persistent universe, and see if the items show back up in your inventory. If they do not,
I actually discovered that today while I was streaming. I didn't actually mention it on the stream, but I realized that.
Guys, we're spoiling. We're telling people stuff that we don't. This is
probably
in here now. Well, they probably left.
Actually, Christian's in here right now.
You believe it now, Sergio? You're going to take away the fun once again.
It gets so if you don't have the items show back in inventory after you leave and rejoin, even if you claim the ship, leave and rejoin, see if they show back up. If they don't show back up after leave and rejoin, they're gone permanently. Now, if your ship gets stored, now this is a new trick that I've discovered recently, and this is something you have to warn everybody about. Your ships will get randomly stored anywhere, just gone. Like I parked my Hornet outside of Tramanmire Mining, which has no landing pad, and it got stored at the outpost. I parked my ship at Karaya once on the landing pad. It got stored at Karaya. I was like, the fuck? So if your ship gets stored somewhere, or if your ship gets location unknown, you'll see that in the claim screen where you go up to the ASOP terminal, you go to look for your ship, and it says location unknown. You do not claim your ship. Go back to the menu, join your hangar, and then hit that Moby glass in your hangar, F1, and then unequip everything from the ship in your hangar that you want to save, and then rejoin the persistent universe. Get all that hard-earned UEC back.
That's good to know, because the Saber, I'm constantly wanting to just build it exactly. I mean, I'm looking forward to CIG when they put in the ability to do the insurance for the weapons and the attachments and stuff, so I can just
I genuinely wish they would just bring down the prices of weapons and components in the PU.
I'm super salty about that.
Bring up the money we can make.
Yes.
The money we can make.
Either way. What's very easiest
to do anything.
And by the way, they've disabled the link to electronic access on the main page, but if you go there, if you know what the link is, and you type if you type the web address up in your browser bar, it'll go there, and you can equip.
You can still
printed
Google
weapons.
You can still Google it. Yeah.
You can also equip rented weapons into your ship in the Arena Commander Manager and take that ship into the persistent universe. But if you lose that ship, you lose I know.
It's gone.
They'll patch it. Whatever. Well, I want people to have fun, for fuck's sake. And a little bit
Now they're not. Now they're not.
fun that is there to wring out of Star Citizen right now is just messing with your ship.
I'm sure that Christian will fix it. I'm joking. I don't think he's going to say to log in Star Citizen.
He's lost his two-factor authentication. It's like, how does this work? Okay. That's what's been delaying development. No one's logging into their computers. It's like, shit, we're still waiting for admin passwords.
Oh god. Do you think? I don't know why they do it though. HC, I'm with you. We've said this before. The fun tax. It's just like, surely someone somewhere is going, guys, this isn't really that much fun right now because we haven't got anything else for them to do. So why don't we just let's boost up the money they make from mining?
God, I had a fucking breakdown Friday. I had a breakdown on stream. There was a post done by one of the developers in charge.
Just telling Christian now, change the numbers on mining or something. Make it so that we can make a.
You know what would be funny if every 1 in 3 rocks that you mined just exploded, right, and just a whole load of clans came out or something. That would just
hamsters and gerbils and clowns.
We can do that 1 week, and then the next week, every 1 in 3 NPC pirates you blow up just blows up into a load of kittens or something. That would be nice.
Or like a giant pinata, all the cargo, all the stuff comes out, and you can.
And then occasionally you have one that just explodes in the facehuggers, and then
we need the FPS AI before we can do that. Then that'll be
Friday I had a complete breakdown because there was a post by a Star Citizen developer in charge of the economy where they pretty much told the community to get good.
Oh wow!
I could go back and find the post, but it was essentially one of them was the community is currently not leveraging all the trade opportunities or something, properly leveraging all the trade opportunities and we have placed in Star Citizen. And they went down, they did the rundown on some numbers, like the average play session. The average play session for the person in Star Citizen is 30 to 45 minutes, and during those play sessions the average player earns 1,700 AUEC, and I'm just like, well, your game's obviously shit.
They earn 1,700. I lose that much every play session.
That's the average person. There's some people below that, and it's probably you.
That's fine.
You're
some people below that and then me.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I look at these numbers and then maybe you could do something for the rest. And they're like, because we like other MMOs, we want the progression to be about 3 days for a significant purchase going off these numbers. And I'm like,
but we've said this before.
We're not a real game.
The game isn't ready.
Game.
Yeah,
they're treating it like a real game.
Ready for that now.
And this is what I've told people before. Like the PTU and the Evocati is for testing. The live environment is for training the customer what to expect during the release. They treat the live environment like a game, so people learn to expect.
It's testing as well. People still putting into. There's still lots of bugs in. No, it is because people still report heavily on bugs that people have missed in Evocati and other things. So it's still testing.
The thing is, they have.
That's what early access is, right?
Like one of the ATVs or whatever is that they're trying to balance economy and stuff. It's like, well, don't.
Why?
Just
why
don't
are you trying to balance this shit?
Like seriously, just let people earn money and earn enough so they can go and buy all the fun shit that's in the game.
Let's break, unless you want us to test missions or something, then you can break the economy and okay, guys, just have fun with missions and report on the missions because you can't make any money on trading. I could understand that if they came out and said we nerfed economy so that you guys would focus on the missions now because we really need to fix that stuff. We need more reports on the missions. Let us know how the missions are.
That was one of the things last week as well, because the whole scene, they were saying they don't know how to balance the economy because obviously those cargo that it can contain will just break the economy flat out right as soon as it's introduced. Well, that's why you don't worry about balancing it so much. Just at the moment, just chuck it in so it does break it. Who cares? Who cares if the first whole sea run makes 2 billion? Well, so what? So he's sitting there with 2 billion in his account. Lucky
What's
him.
he gonna do with
it? It doesn't affect everybody else, does it? That doesn't affect me. I still fucking die and have to buy my ship next week, so it doesn't make any difference to me whether he's got tons of shit. Like
he's just going to buy loads of armor. He's just going to buy you're going to buy loads of armor, loads of guns, and then guess what happens in a week or 2 weeks time?
Wiped.
You patch. And it's all fucking wiped, and it doesn't matter because you've just wiped it all, and he's back to having nothing again.
Just feel like now is not the point to do all this. And it's the same reason why they, I've said it before about the whole waiting for your ship to respawn and stuff. Like, I get that that's what it'll be like in the end game, and I get that. But like, if you've only got one ship, also, I want to play the fucking game. I don't want to sit there and say, well, you got to spend this amount of money to get it back and then get it. It's just like, doesn't need it. Not at the moment.
That's back when they first introduced. That's back when they first introduced the insurance mechanic with the reclaimer, and everybody was complaining. It's all the reclaimer people complaining. It's all the reclaimer
Hey,
people
I have a reclaimer. Hang on. Whoa. Who's complaining? What?
About the insurance cooldowns. Remember that? It was like,
oh yeah, that was a bit
24 hours for a reclaimer or something, and the expedite was like 4 hours or something, some ridiculous amount. And everybody's like, why do we need this? What if I have an Aurora? Like, what if I have a Cutlass? Heaven forbid you only have one ship.
They're trying to replicate what will happen eventually in the verse, which is what we all get, but it's just not like it's not going to happen.
It's too soon.
It's not now. Just not now. We get that, but we don't need it now.
Mercy.
Mercy.
Let us play the game that's not even playable at the moment, please.
No, CRG, no. It's not happening.
Random heart attacks just walking through the
base. We
don't
need lots of people playing the game right now. We don't need anyone streaming it. In fact, we don't need anybody streaming it. Nobody playing it. It's fine. Just go away.
Make a good point, Madness. No, you make a good point, because the less people that play it, the better the stability of the servers. And so technically, if everybody fucks off and just 60 of us play it, that's fine. Yeah. We've got a good full server. We can have fun.
Yeah. Everybody heard it here. Fuck off.
For those who watch my stream, for those who watch my stream, you may have noticed that recently I've been doing a lot of PvP, aka just killing people. Look, I'm not killing people for the sake of killing people. I'm not griefing. I'm just trying to clean up the servers. That's all I'm trying to clean up. Just trying to clean up the servers.
I've been doing that for years. I did that for months, for years. That was always my kind of argument. It was like, well, I'm educating them. I'm teaching them how to kind of better avoid me and how to deal with being killed. It's part of the process. We're actually providing a service.
Yeah.
So yes, if you're watching this now, don't play Star Citizen. Go and play something else. Yeah. Don't play it. It's shit. We don't need you. It doesn't need to happen. In fact, that's probably why they've made combat so shit, because they don't even want them playing more. They don't want even us playing it. Like,
all they want is cargo traders to just go back and forth, and that's it.
That's
back and forth.
That's all they want. It's confirmed, 100%.
I'm just helping them out. I'm teaching them life lessons. I'm building character. They're building character. That's what I'm doing. I'm building character.
They just want to stand on top the decks at Port Olisar, taking pictures of the spinning thing and then the planet. That's all they want. That's all they want at CIG.
You can let them touch that. No, don't even log in. We'll send you the pictures. We'll send you the JPEGs you can buy.
Yeah, they'll send you that, but then they'll send you the brochure with the new ships coming that you just have to buy here and just sign here at the bottom with your account details and PayPal. That's fine. Don't worry, we'll send it to you when it's ready. And on that bombshell, we'll move on to the next really great
podcast. Is the most random podcast I've ever been on in my life.
So that was the introduction.
Star Citizen.
That was the introduction.
Yeah, that was the introduction. Now we get to the meat of the game. So let's talk about, because we're being salty, let's talk about the brilliant introduction, which I think is a great resource. I'm so happy they put a team on this. I think this is something that needed to be done. There's nothing else in the game that was more important than this. The checkpoint race. Oh my goodness, what a great idea. CIG, fantastic. Nothing else needed to be done but this. Oh my, like
smoky grenades,
so
checkpoints.
Good. We need this.
Oh my god, I saw that in the last ATV. They hit one of the checkpoints, and the cyclone just starts tumbling all over the place.
It's like as if like they couldn't have given us like maybe the smoky bits for us to create our own races and then save themselves the time and energy. But no, they put a team on it. I mean, ESP maybe had a team. I'm not sure. I know the Carrack hasn't had a team for a while, but no, they put it on this race. I think it's great.
I wrestled with an awkward chubby for about an hour after I saw that, but yeah, it's clearly inspired by Grand Theft Auto 5. Clearly, you know.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I just started playing Grand Theft Auto 5 the other day. It's still as fun as it always is. So.
It will be as boring as shit by the time you do it for the first time. It is a fucking awful thing. I'm sorry. It's terrible.
What, Grand Theft
Destiny
Auto 5?
had something similar. If you haven't played Destiny, there was a mission in there where you had to do like go through little rings to do something, and you got a little prize at the end of it. It was utter garbage, and then I hated doing it. I don't do it now and again.
You know what? What game ruined racing for me? Giant Citizen Kabuto. Giant Citizen Kabuto. Anybody remember that game?
No.
No? Nobody remembers that game. That game had
My
this
chair's broken.
jet ski race, and it just kept going on and on. And like it got to the point where it's almost satire. They made you race so many times. And it's like you could play this giant monster that elbow drops buildings to destroy them. But no, we're gonna have you race this jet ski around the track for the next 20 minutes.
Of all the things that are important to do, they do this. I'm like, there are so many other things that need investment. But you could have just given us the ability to put those little green things down, and we could have made our own races.
I mean, when they said they put a team on it, I mean, I was saying about this before, and I get what I do agree with you, but at the same time, like, what are they actually adding? Just green, smoky beacons. Like, how much work was there involved? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, but still, but my point still is. Give us the smoky green beacons and let us make our own races. If that's what they're going to do, let us do it. Don't make it a mission. Just let us do it. We can make our own missions and have money at the end of it or something. And we trade money with each other.
Give us the smoky green beacons. We need them, CIG.
I just want to throw them around in the back of my cutlass. Just have like a little foot race inside my cutlass. Well, I'm gonna kneecap a couple of people I pick off of Jump Town, and whoever wins the race, the crawl race in the back of my cutlass gets to live.
I would have been more happy with the turret working, or a turret version of the Cyclone, so we could have death races with the Cyclone.
Well, that's what they advertised it as. That's probably by the time the green smoke will come into the PU will be when we have the turret Cyclone.
Death races. All right.
Yeah.
So then,
I mean,
that's fine. That's a bit better, at least. With a bit of violence always makes it better.
I mean, realistically,
a bit of the ultra
like you just said, I think most people want, like, the Daymar Rally and stuff. People want to make their own race, so it would be nice if we could have just been able to... I suppose
speaking of making your own race, they're having a foot race on Daymar.
Oh, fantastic.
Race.
Yeah, Daymar Rally. Spot on.
Yeah.
I the wrong way round.
I think it's up to us to educate and to do all the, like, we've been doing the 25-25 combat thing. We did doing Daymar Rally. We should just hand us the tools.
Just hand us the keys.
That's a good point. They could probably charge per beacon as well, couldn't they? 25. Someone's just said in chat $25 per beacon. It'd stop everybody spamming it. I suppose that's the only thing is how do you if you allow everybody to have the beacons. Like, how do you stop everybody just putting them everywhere on a planet and not actually making a racetrack?
You have to find them.
Yeah, they go dead. They have a battery life of like a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and you have to find them.
Yeah, but then if you're making that racetrack and then the battery runs out by the time you finish making your racetrack.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
one at the start, one at the end. Done.
One at the start, one at the end.
Wait, what?
One at the start, one at the end.
One at the start and one at the end. That's all you need, 2 beacons. It's up to you to find your way there. That's it. On you go.
Well, you can just do that now by having 2 players stand at one at the start and one at the end.
That's it. That's my point. My point is they didn't even need to do it. It doesn't even need to be done.
Smoke not needed confirmed.
You can just have everybody in the. You can have everybody. You can create a new account called the Finish Line, and one called the Starting Line, and then you have them all in the same party, and you have the account named Starting Line, one at one end of the racetrack, and the other one named the Finish Line at the other end of the racetrack. And then you can have an account called Marker A, Marker B, Marker.
Like, I mean, they could make it group based. So if you want to do a race, you join a group, and then that marker, only the ones in the group show up to you in your group. And then you can have it different colour or whatever for your group. And so if ever people do place loads of beacons, you wouldn't actually see them unless you're in their group. And that way you can have... sorry, I'm getting distracted by Moist now. I mean, there's only so many fluffy teddies you can have on your... It's like his Elite Dangerous desktop, wasn't it?
He's got bobbleheads for days.
Red Lear, all praise Red Lear.
It's actually this is the closest you'll ever get. This is the closest you'll ever get to be on the podcast because I asked him before, but sadly the timeline is just the worst. He can't ever make it because of I think work commitments and stream commitments. So,
what a bitch! You know what? Let's remove Red Lear. There we go.
Such a shame.
She said no, so fuck you.
I'll never be able to make it, sadly.
But, I'm sorry, what we were talking about? Racists, right?
No, so the racists. Yeah, so the racist races. No, the races Not for me, but I think the problem is like that would have been fine if the rest of ATV had actually been any good and actually probably shown a load of other things. But I think because that was all that there's only like one or two things to focus on.
They showed the rework of the 300i. What more do you want?
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the 300i then. Come on, guys. What do we think?
I like it.
What's the thoughts?
I like it.
Right.
I never liked the original 300i.
I know. A lot of the older ships had the older ships all had issues. So a rework is definitely required. It's thick. It's going to be bigger.
Thick.
It's about the girl.
She's got booty. She's got the booties now. She's got some hips to grab onto now. Really
this actually, when I was watching this, it's definitely a good example of why like developing the ships before having the mechanics in is not always that great as well, though, because like a big thing that they put in here is like now they're saying like the lift for the cargo, so you can actually get cargo in. Obviously, when it was first made, it's like, oh, well, this is a cargo ship. How do we put cargo in? I don't know. Just throw it. So
I
it's
landed
nice
upside down. That's how I get it in. Just roll it right over. That's how I get it in.
Do you know what? I don't like the front.
Try something different tonight, honey. Roll over.
Yeah, I still don't like the front. Whoever they've got doing the fronts of these ships at the moment, I didn't like the way they did the Mustang rework, and I'm not feeling the front of this as a rework either.
I've always been more of a fan of the back end. Don't worry, I completely agree with you.
That's true. I like to see what I'm. Never mind. Don't say it, Madness. You're in one of those moods.
But no, I mean, to me, it's all good improvements on it mostly. It's like having a bigger space inside. You know, that when it started and we had all these cramped spaces inside the ships and you're crawling to get in, and it's like it didn't really make sense apart from like certain. Well, even then, the single fighters, you just get into the actual seat. Like all this, what's the point in having a little corridor that you have to crawl through to get to the pilot seat? It's kind of wasted. So I think the fact that they've brought it forward, opened up the inside, it gives it a little bit more of a. Kind of, it looks a little bit like the bang stand with the little lounge bit inside it and that. So I think it's definitely a lot better improvement than what it was. And
yeah,
that's ATV.
Yeah, definitely.
Goodbye.
It's not. Yeah, that was it, right? It was like that racing and what was the other thing? It was.
So like you can see obviously the influences of the 600i on it, so that helps. It's I suppose it's like, but that's what I'm trying to say is the fact that
the question where?
Like people were on about like
the 600. Where'd you see them? Just show me where you see the 600i references on there.
In the kind of shape of it, in the sides.
Because I was struggling to. Honestly, I was just struggling to see it. I was looking at it going.
You're a designer, right? Are you definitely a designer? I bet you sell second-hand cars, don't you, Madness?
Someone had a better.
This side bit looks like the engine. Even that side bit looks like the side wing of the 600i with that grill on the front, and then even the shape. To a certain degree.
The wing, though, I think the criticism is the wing. Like none of the other Origin ships have that wing.
Yeah.
Someone suggested taking the 600i's engines and just shoving them into those wing.
But that's what I'm saying. If you imagine that wing bit filled in, it would look like the side of the 600i.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
So I think I was just having. I'm just having a blonde moment. I don't know. I was born naturally blonde, so I could be having. 600
It's alright. It's because he doesn't like. He doesn't even think Crocs are good. So there's no point judging his design.
Crocs are amazing.
Crocs are so comfy. They're so comfy.
They are comfy and you know what?
Easy to wear.
They last forever. I wear them on my boosted board. I wear them at work. I wear them on the beach.
He wears them in public. He wears them in public proudly.
I hurt myself. This is retarded.
Do they have Crocs in like the Scottish flag?
Probably, yeah.
No, definitely, but I can make them for you.
There you
or
go.
at least JR Fabrication can.
Do you know what? If the wings didn't go over the top and stayed short, so it didn't actually come
there
over
was
the
a
top,
fan one that was better in my opinion.
That would be like more of an infrastructure, and it came and it lipped underneath a little bit more, and you had a little bit more of that kind of like it's got like a kind of a chin guard type of thing going on. Just a touch of that underneath would feel it. I don't want to go too crazy, but just a smidgen might have been. I'd feel a little bit more of the 600. I'm just looking at, but then I do see that line at the front where they've got the kind of the going down into the engines, but yeah. Not as much as I was hoping for. Anyway. Oh God, honestly, if anyone else is like Crocs, just look, if you're watching right now and you wear Crocs,
If you love Crocs like I do,
life hasn't ended for you.
Exclamation mark Discord. You can join my Discord.
As Ryan Gosling would say,
I have a Croc emote that you can now use, and I'm thinking about putting it on Bitter Twitch TV so people in chat can use a Croc emote. So
Ryan Gosling said in a great movie, I can't remember which one it was, but he's talking to Steve Carell, and I think Steve Carell's trying to get girls or something and needs tip, and he's wearing his clothes and he goes, the Gap, he's wearing Gap clothes, and he looks at me and goes, you can do better than the Gap. And I would say to anybody that's a Croc person here, you can do better than Crocs. That's the truth.
I'm still waiting. I've asked in my chat for someone to come along with a shoe that's the same price, that does the same level of comfort and works and everything else, and then I'll say you can do better than that. If you can't bring me that, which no one has done yet, then you can't say you can do better than that.
All right.
Barefoot is better than that. It's far more attractive.
No, it's not. It's not more supportive for your feet going barefoot. So that's wrong.
It is. If you wear your feet long enough, your feet will grow.
I'm not against barefoot. I'm just throwing that out there. If anybody wants to tweet me pictures of their bare feet, then that's completely up to them.
There's one of the fan pictures I found recently. I put it in the Discord group chat.
Oh my god, socks and sandals.
Take a look at that.
On the stream. Depends what we're doing. I just honestly, it's just.
Well, that is a mashup of the 600i, isn't it? Isn't that like the engine from it?
Yeah, they took the engines from the back of the 600i, and they filled in that stupid wing that everybody hates. That's what I kind of think it needs.
But that's what I'm saying. That you can see that shape on the new rework. It's just that it's hollow there, rather than actually having the engine filled in.
It's not bad. But yeah.
This is a fan rework, by the way. This is what we got up on screen right now.
Yeah.
So this is what they're like. Hey, let's smash.
I kind of like the beefy. Yeah, there's something. I don't know. I'll wait until the text. It's hard for me to say because I'll wait until the texture comes in. But there's something kind of cool about what you've just shown me there. There's something quite. I don't know. I like front that one versus the new one.
Yeah, the one they showed off on the ATV versus the one you just saw.
Yeah. I prefer the one that you've just shown in terms of the front. I don't know. I think it's a bit messy at the back, but that's probably where they've changed a lot of it. But
yeah, well, that was the 600i. When I saw the 600i, I looked at the engine and towards the rear, and I'm just like, it's got all these folds.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a vagina. It's got all these folds in it. It's just, what the hell's happening? What the hell's going on down there?
Then in design, the design and sexual body parts does tend to be a thing. I think it's because the subconscious mind is often thinking
sexual body
Sorry,
parts.
what looks like a vagina? I've never seen one, so I can't really compare.
You haven't been on the internet? I mean, there's lots of them on the internet.
Well, you probably have seen exactly one, but you were so traumatized at the time you forgot it.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Please.
Oh my god.
All right, okay. Questions, by the way. If anyone's got any questions,
certain questions need to be asked.
Anyone's got questions?
Exclamation mark question or exclamation mark Q. We'll bring up the question form. Please fill it in.
This
ask us something. Please.
CIG. This is all your fault.
Yeah, I do actually blame CIG for this podcast because they don't give us enough to talk about, so we talk about shit instead.
Yeah, we're paying serious money for good quality ATVs, and we need at least a little bit more than. What's that like? Just a little bit more. You don't even get the studio. Do we get the studio updates, or is it now? It's turned into like a news broadcasting show. Have you noticed that? It's gone. They stand there, and then all of a sudden, in the corner, a little thingy clips, and then they give us a little kind of news thing, and then there's another news thing appears, and I mean, some people might like that.
The other thing they did have an ATV right at the end was the man pissing in the toilet. No, not that. Well, that, but
the toilet. Yeah.
The habs, the easy hab things, or the habitat, whatever they were called.
Yeah.
A bit more showing the room of them. They look cool. It would be nice when we finally get one of those.
Toilet.
No, the habitat rooms. But I like. How long do you think? Like, I bet we see everything's becoming pre-decorated and everything. I was like, do you think we're actually going to be able to put anything in our special rooms, or they're just going to be like, this is your pre-room?
I think
where it's going to not look like your room.
This is the thing. That's the thing for me. It's like. I wait and see because of my hope is obviously what we've seen in the armor and the amount of bits that they're creating for armor. I'm hoping they'll do similar things for the environment, and you'll be able to at least kind of make it your own. But when we played No Man's Sky the other day, and we were kind of doing stuff, just their speed and ease of which you can base build is so nice. It's so fun to build. Like Miz built his first little shack in 5 seconds. It was fantastic to see his first little shack.
It
It's like,
looked
oh,
like
there's
something
Miz's
that was built in
shack.
5 seconds.
It was literally built in 5 seconds, but it was yours, and it was your first one, and you built it on a planet, so it was kind of
And
cool.
it was orange.
Yeah, and it's like
eventually.
we finally got land you can buy, and so I'm quite looking. I want to look. They've shown us the kind of the already pre-made pod things, so I'm still hopeful we'll be able to do a bit more customizing.
Oh, Forbidden Take. It's true, but I'm on about everything else in. This isn't finished. Well, Norwich Stars isn't, but this isn't finished. Like when it comes to our hounds, it'll all be pre-decorated, like the easy hab you get up in. You can't move that dirty magazine that you've tried to cover up. It's like it's still there. If my mum comes in my easy hab, I'm screwed because she's gonna know. It's like, what have you been looking at?
I've been trying to move it for months, Mum, but they won't let me.
I've even had other people in here to move it, and it doesn't work.
It's not mine, honestly. Crazy.
But you can see this actually been lived in because they got different height levels and they wrote 2 meters. Like this is what when you measure your kids up against a wall as you're growing up.
You can see the growth of Star Citizen development right on the walls.
Yeah, this is when I was 1. This is when he was 2.
What happened?
Wow, we've lost you.
Yeah, you did. What the hell happened?
I didn't lose you. You lost us.
I did.
Green screen.
There we go.
I'm
back.
Light changing, maybe.
Camera got killed.
What was okay? So that was it, wasn't it? ATV and RTV. What was RTV about?
Don't ask.
Artists, I think.
No, it wasn't. It was
artists.
lore, but they played Star Citizen while chatting to the lore guides. So I can go through what they asked and the answers because basically they asked everything that we already knew, and then they gave answers that we already knew. Which is like
so.
It was no. I don't know. Yeah.
Let's move on. Here's a question for you guys that I want to talk about. When FPS combat comes in and is added, should there be a Vandal Swarm equivalent for Star Marine?
That would be nice. It'd be nice
with members of your org, so that way.
It's PvE, Vandal Swarm.
I think I mean, like they're showing that they're working on that, so I do hope not that, but like working on the AI. So I do hope they do something like that. It'd be quite nice. But then they are sort of pulling away from Star Marine as well, though. So if you want that sort of battle, you may have to go to a station to do it or something rather than.
I hope.
Well, today I had we had a viewer on my channel that complained that a viewer that complained. Imagine that. It was actually some other viewer. It wasn't just you. That was complaining that every time they join a Star Citizen stream, it's just some dude flying around empty space or marveling at this starship. How come I don't see I was playing Star Marine. He said, this is the first time I've actually seen a gun being held in Star Citizen. I was playing Star Marine. And I'm just like, okay. And then I go over to Persistent Universe. Then I head over to Jumptown and I kill somebody. Love Jumptown. Then I jump over to Tram and Mire Mining. I blow up someone's ship and I get out of my ship. Then I go inside and I immediately eat buckshot. And then I come back and I kill the guy. And then I kill 2 more people. And they were like, he was like, wow, this is amazing. Star Citizen actually has on-foot gameplay. Yeah, it does. But you have to force it, though.
At the moment.
So,
not forever. Hopefully with the AI, it'll start to get a bit more spicy. Spicy, a bit more spicy, yeah, which is what we need. That spicy bit when you're trying to take. Everyone wants that, the ability to the same wave. Yeah, take over an outpost and then have wave of AI like over a period of time, keep coming back to try and take it back, and it kind of escalation of just like in that's what I want anyway, like Grand Theft Auto, where the waves get harder and harder, and you have to try and resist for longer and longer. I think I played in Modern Warfare, when they first released the game, and they had this game mode where you had to defend yourself against wave after wave after wave of things that were getting harder and progressively harder and harder. And it was a lot of fun as a PvE experience. It was a lot of fun to do. So put that in the game would be pretty cool. Not to mention, obviously, with humans as well. You'd have humans joining the team that would be cool if like the AI put out a message and said, we need to recruit soldiers to come and help come and take out. And the AI kind of like and you can join up, and the mission then becomes active, and then it becomes a thing in the verse where people then have the choice to join this like campaign mission type thing to take back this post from, and it all becomes a mixture of AI and players joining to try and take it back over a prolonged period of time until eventually it does. And then if you join the team, then you get a financial reward for helping them. That would be fucking sweet.
It would be.
They do that in, I think it is in Assassin's Creed, where you get like player-based missions and other MMOs like Guild Wars and stuff, where you get a big boss and then everyone comes together to fight this big boss. It's a PvE experience, but it'd be kind of cool if you could do mini ones with actual players as well. They activate it and then it becomes a mission where, because we do it now. We do it now with the 25v25. We kind of create that anyway. So
you gotta force it though. You gotta force it.
Exactly. So.
But I think like a server-wide warning to get people to go there would be pretty cool.
Exactly. Or you could have it with the Vandal are attacking. Vandal are attacking this base. Through our PvE experience, Vandal are attacking this base. I'm sure they'll do it, and you have to go and defend the base with the AI.
I've also been noticing AI on the roadmap a lot this year. I figured they're doing that preparations for Squadron 42 because AI is going to be highly important.
Well, that's exactly what I was trying to say earlier. It's like everyone's going, "Well, is Squadron 42 going to be out soon?" It's like we haven't got AI yet. It's going to be extremely difficult to have Squadron 42 when the AI is not even working and the animation's not all done. So unless we're seeing a good flow of that, then no, Squadron 42 is not here soon.
Fourballs agree. You could do the same on an Idris. You could have like pirates boarding your spaceship. Suddenly you're getting attacked and the people are boarding your spaceship. You could do
whatever happened to capture the Idris game mode? Whatever happened to that? Arena Command 2.0 multi-crew Arena Commander.
Soon.
It'll happen soon. Don't worry. Yeah.
Sattaball.
Soon. It's coming.
Let's not talk about Sattaball.
Somebody mentioned, which I thought was interesting. Again, I think there's still this misconception within the community with certain players about skill versus skill trees. There still seems to be, like, I still see people posting things like somebody was asking about buying ships in game, and I feel very sad when 2 years on we still haven't got ships in game for them to buy. But this one was the gene modding. What this person he was talking about the gene modding. He was talking about, and he's like, "Oh, if I can get like a certain skill tree, I'll be able to then do different genes like plants and fauna, all this stuff." But it was like he was expecting there to be a kind of like a skill tree in terms of like I have to do certain things to get certain things that levels me up so I can do things. And I was like, no, that's not how it works. In terms of still the way that they've done it is all you need to do is buy the gear to be able to do that. Do you know what I mean? That's the way it works. It's never been.
You want to be a medic, you just buy the gear and then you learn how to do the quick time event or whatever the hell.
Yeah. It's on you to learn how to do it, but you just need the tools to be able to achieve it. And
the way you're not going to have you're not going to have someone rucking around a medic like in Team Fortress 2. You don't have someone rucking around a heal gun. You have somebody who just happens to have a medic bag or something on them, and if they get shot, well, you just run over and pick it up from their body, and then you can start healing them, or you can start healing someone like Arma, like how Arma does it. Like you can
corpse looting confirmed.
Yes, corpse looting. And the only way to get in concierge, if you're not spending $1,000, is to find someone who is used to be concierge. If you know what I mean.
If only that worked. Just kill a concierge.
It's like Highlander. It's fucking Highlander right here. Highlander this shit.
Nice.
We are the kings of eternity. How does that song go?
Okay. Well, yes. Here's another thing. Have you guys heard of a game called The Last Starfighter?
I heard of a movie called The Last Starfighter.
I heard of a movie called that.
Well, it's not called The Last Star. I think it's called Starfighter.
Infinity something or other Starfighter.
Imperial Studios. It's done by Jack Mammoth, the director. He's the director of the game. He did Mech Warrior 2, Heavy Gear 2, Far Cry, and Crysis. And then the senior product is the guy who did X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
I loved that game.
I know, right? And it's a hardcore PvP game. I was in someone's chat. I can't remember if I was in the Redacted podcast or something, and I was just going off on, as I always do, going off about something and saying, I'll start my own game. I'll do this. It's because I was grumbling about PvP basically. And someone said to me, "Hey,
he had sand in his vagina today again."
Have you not? It's not called The Last. It's called. I'm thinking of the movie Last Starfighter, but it's actually called Starfighter, the game. But it's not a game. It's a demo game because they tried to do a Kickstarter. And they didn't get enough money. And the point was, I think somebody said to me, is like, if you did that game, you wouldn't get enough money to make it. So, and I was like, okay. And then I saw this, somebody's linked this to me, and I was like, somebody's done it. They've even got the pedigree to be able to make it, but they didn't make enough money on the Kickstarter. It was a fail for them to hit the amount they needed. And they've come back again and they've done another video and they've improved and they keep trying to improve what they're trying to sell. But what is obviously the problem is they're trying to sell very, very narrow, very specific type of gameplay, which is really good PvP. Oh, shame. That's exactly what I want. However, obviously Star Citizen sells is obviously a bigger, broader scope for the PvE and all that kind of thing. I think that's their problem, is that they probably need to move a bit more towards the special Careberry side. I have that, a little bit of that in the game to get more money. Dare I say it? I don't know. But if you
That's
know
what Chris Roberts did. Promise everybody everything, and then ignore most of the people when they start complaining that they're not being serviced properly. You know.
Yeah. So that's the studio there. Go check it out if you've never seen it, and if you're interested in PvP. And the way I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking, I wonder if there might come a point. This is the thing. I might come a point where I'm actually playing other games to give me the Star Citizen experience, because they are master of none, and so there's nothing great. And so I have to go and play Starfighter for my great PvP, and then I go into survival mode. I want to play a survival type of game in space. It's really good. Oh, I'll go to No Man's Sky and I want to build bases. I want to have fun. I'll go and play Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I think that's what's happening. I think that is what is happening with No Man's Sky at the moment with a lot of Star Citizen people. I think they're going to No Man's Sky to scratch that itch.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Because the gameplay's not there in Star Citizen, so it's like, let's get that gameplay we're after in No Man's Sky. Definitely.
I know. Certainly know there's a lot of Star Citizen streamers that are streaming No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Because they all got Star Citizen giveaways in their titles.
Yes.
Yeah. But like, so saying that, Madness, and I get what you're saying, and sometimes there's an argument for just hone in on something that you want to create and then specialize in that. So like a survival game does survival, or so. But I've played, coming from an MMO background and playing tons of MMOs, I'm fed up with going from one MMO to another saying, God, if only they'd put what this done in it. Oh, if only they put that. And every time you go to a different MMO, that just
brought it all together.
Yeah. Exactly, which is why WoW did so amazing back in the day, because what it did is it pulled all the things that all these other ones did and it put it into one game, and people are like, oh, shit, this is good. And so that's why Star Citizen has potential to be the WoW of the space games and things, because if it manages to pull it all in and do it, then that's what we'll get. Because
potential.
Sometimes it's got to manage to deliver, but there's something more frustrating than going into a game and going, have you, like, when I first played, I can't remember, one of the older MMOs, and you logged in, it's like, shit, you don't even look like you've ever logged into another MMO when you made this one, because you're missing this and you're missing that, and it's so, there's an argument that people do want everything all pushed into one epic, amazing, fantastic game, that they don't have to change games to do it. It's all here under one roof. Possibly.
I know, it's a bit like, the thing is, it's like, here's the kind of like, it's because in life is the reality as well. It's like with malls, isn't it? It's like they created these huge malls in order to bring all the shopping experience into one great place, and it's a funnish kind of experience. But then you always get the flip side. Yeah, people hate them and they just want to go to the really cool marketplaces where everything's broken up into more of a kind of a raw experience that people kind of, it's more condensed. So it feels
Americans like our malls. Unfortunately, Americans now shop at Amazon.
So the malls are going.
That was just a quick kind of like.
It's about time they had a bit of feedback, taste of their own medicine, though. Like after they made all the small shops shut down, it's a bit ironic now that they're getting shut down. It's like,
well, actually, we have one of the malls. We had one of the malls around here that actually had to start opening up the tattoo parlors and some of the smaller. And it comes like a little flea market now. Like with all the shops, they look really cheap, have like really cheap signs out on front, and it's just like, it honestly looks like you had a mom and pop shop open up in the mall now. All the designer stuff is going on to Amazon. Either you're really big or you're really small.
I don't. I mean, this podcast is becoming actually more of a talk show, but the interesting thing about Amazon is people don't think that Amazon's in the real estate business, but actually Amazon fucking is. Like, seriously, they're buying property all over the fucking place.
We have one of the largest warehouses here on the western seaboard is an Amazon warehouse, and they have to have climate control because it actually rains inside the warehouse.
No way, that's insane.
The warehouse is so big that they have to have the humidity controlled inside the warehouse.
Amazon need to sell that to Star Citizen so we can have weather effects.
We've
got rain inside their warehouse. Come on.
We have hangars that actually have their own atmosphere, please.
And keep in mind, we
Right.
also have a very big out here in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle. We actually have Amazon's headquarters in Seattle, and we also have the headquarters for Amazon Web Services as well here. So we are exploding.
Somebody just mentioned in chat about it's between Amazon and Walmart. Sorry, Walmart have
Yes.
just pulled out of the UK, so don't worry about it. We're okay over here.
Isn't Asda Walmart?
They've given up on Asda now. If you look at the Asda signs, they're removing the Walmart part of all the Asda signs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh well, big loss there.
So talk show. Yeah. Well, I'm less angry now that we're talking about other things.
Talking about other things. Yeah.
I've noticed you're so relaxed.
Yeah, we're all Amazon. Let's talk about the beauty that is Amazon. We love it.
Let's talk about Amazon. I was going to talk about one more thing, but I guess if anyone's got any questions or something you'd like us to discuss, please feel free to mention it in chat now with a exclamation question, or you can do it on the question form if you want us to talk. We do have another. I don't know. I mean, we said we were going to struggle to make an hour and a half, and I think we've probably just about hit about an hour and a half today. And I'm not going to.
Is it really only an hour and a half? Wow.
I'm not going to force the podcast.
Someone has asked. Someone called.
If you have questions, Phil, ask the questions. We have nothing to talk about in Star Citizen.
Feel free to ask us anything you want to ask us.
We do have the roadmap, but I'm worried that will just incite more salt. So
no, dude.
I don't know.
We can do a live
the
opening
roadmap
of Asylum t-shirts.
Right, while you do that,
I have my live opening. It's already open.
We are bottom of the barrel content unboxing. Well, not even
unboxing. These are the Asylum t-shirts that
unboxing ever.
It's
these the t-shirts that we were expecting for BritisonCon because they've taken a while.
We can release it on YouTube as an unboxing, so it's fine.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I think they could do with pumping up the orange a little bit on the Asylum t-shirt. Not too bad. That's the white one. It looks better probably on the screen. It looks pretty good though. I think I'll rock a pair. By the way, Grim,
white t-shirts because whatever's black ends up white.
Our patrons that are out there, we haven't forgotten you. We love you. If you do come down to the next London Bar Citizen, and if you're a large, because you have to be a large, obviously.
We got different sizes, didn't we?
Oh, I do have a medium actually. I think I've got medium in there. There may be one there for you as a patron. You may actually.
It's a long way for Tutamon to go just for a t-shirt. I think we need to send.
Well, Tutamon, we're going to send you one. But that's for patrons. We are aware of some of the great support that we've had from some people for quite a long time, and Miz and I this company at least does deliver good quality t-shirts rather than the last one which I had on my personal channel, which I gave up with because it was garbage. And I'm still looking for somebody better. The problem with this is I have to pay import tax, which is
we do need a UK or an EU-based one that's better. I mean, the one I use seems to be okay, but I haven't tested it for decent stuff. But anyway, someone called Some Cool Guy asked, with client patches being quarterly and server patches, fixes, adjustments being hidden, sporadic, unknown, do you expect any significant improvement between now and 3.3?
No.
I expect it to go backwards.
I think
3.3.
I think 3.2.1 was it.
Do you know what?
Sorry.
I think I said this before we came online to Miz. I don't think HC was there. I said that I think they might start removing some of the band-aids that were holding certain programs together for netcoding because I think they'll want to come in with this.
And I fully expect 3.3 to be another 3.0, another 2.5, another 2.6. Yeah. There's so much new technology in 3.3 that they're going to like Madness said, they're going to remove all the band-aids and then they're going to have to patch up everything back up after 3.3 hits. And CIG is not afraid to push out incomplete tech and then patch it back up over the year. So it's going to be, like I'm telling my viewers, end of the year, January 1st, 2019, check back in with us then, see how 3.4 runs. 3.3 is an ambitious patch. With all
I think at the end of this year, if I hear people talking crazy about how 3.5 is going to be like the Jesus patch or whatever it is going to be,
there is going to be no
murder somebody just because it will be, especially if I hear some of the streamers and stuff.
We've heard it for 5 years now.
We've heard it for there does come a point when it's just like.
And I fell into the trap of the Jesus patch was 3.0 and I got my ass slapped by that motherfucker. I should have known from 2.5, 2.6. I was playing 2.5 and 2.6.
We're all guilty. Do you know why? Not all of us.
We hyped up. We all hyped it up.
We're all invested. Like we said earlier. We're all emotionally connected to the game. We're in a way that maybe we don't want to be, including myself. I mean, I'm hard on it, but I'm just as much of a fucking fanboy on them as all the rest of you.
Yeah, I thought the 2.0 patch was going to be it. I thought that was going to be it.
I thought when they first
2.0.
released hangers and nothing else, I thought that was going to be it. I was like, yes, I could walk
Amazing.
around.
Oh,
my
the first
fucking
time you walk
hanger.
around inside of a.
I can see
the
my
first,
aurora.
I highly recommend
I'm so
everybody
happy.
to go down nostalgia lane and go back and watch a YouTube video on someone walking through the first constellation.
Well, not even that. The first time somebody managed to get an aurora to move and they took it up a ramp.
No, just I guarantee you'll be puking your guts out walking through the constellation. That thing looks so goddamn ugly. If you go look at the current one, and a lot of that is going to be improvement by degrees. Like you literally have to go back as someone who's been playing a long time. You have to go back and you have to look at some of the original content we had, just see how far we've come.
And we do it on this. We do it on the show every year. We'll do a little. I always do. Like last year, I did it as well. I showed like the original freelancer kind of cockpit and everything, and then I showed them the new one. And there is improvement. There's no question. There's improvement on the game. It's tremendous looking. It's again. I kind of go to the point. It's got to a point where it's like it's really great, but like, can we seriously get a move on with gameplay and the fun part, the bit that we really need
The
to play?
tech side of it now. We've
Tech
got
side,
we got the beautifulness nailed. Let's get on to the tech side.
Yeah, I expect them to make that better next time. Do you know what I mean, Miz? That's the thing. Is I don't think in 2 years' time they can upgrade the graphics again. Do you know what I mean? It's like I firmly believe they'll do that. They don't need to do it now. It's like you kind of got it
patch hype. Yeah. Not Dr. Drones asked, how do you guys feel about the current terrible state of grenades in SC? Well, Madness is the best person to answer this. He bought like 400 of them, so he should know.
They're caltrops. You pull the pin, you walk, and you run. That's what I treat them as now. I just pull the pin, they drop at my feet, I just run away, and someone runs over them, boom, I get a kill.
I genuinely forget that grenades exist. I never use grenades.
Don't. They're awful now.
If I'm having to use a grenade, then there's something wrong with what's happened in my life at that moment in the game. That's the way I look at it. If I'm I need a grenade.
That said, the Space Bro battles that happen every Saturday, by the way, 25 versus 25, 50 people in one server every Saturday. Space Bros. It happens every week that just a whole load of people cram into airlocks, and then the door opens. You just lob a grenade in there. They all fall to pieces.
Well, in this case, you can have Madness pull a pin and just lob Madness in there.
Hold on, the grenade Madness.
All 400 grenades with me. Just unplug them all. Ready, just run in with them all.
Do you imagine them all hanging on his suit, just like a suit made of grenades as they rattle around as he walks? Like, so could just grab. Actually, that's a fucking good idea. You could be the grenade man, and your whole team could stand around and just grab a grenade and throw it. As they grab it off your suit, it pulls the pin away.
The grenade man. Do you know there's actually a military classification for someone who wears a lot of grenades? It's called grenadier.
Grenadier.
I know.
Grenade man. Oh, you miserable.
Do you know what would be better though?
No, I'm
not.
What are we thinking? Like, you know the Joker scene when he does the bit where he's attached. He's got the attached to piece.
Yeah, he's got the thing.
And then he pulls it away. Yeah. He's the guys in his mouth. I was like, and the same thing when he does the same trick, doesn't he? When he meets the mafia guys and he's kind of like and he does the.
That's the scene I'm thinking of.
Guns.
He's got two scenes. He uses grenades. He uses one grenade in the first with the guy in the bank, and he puts the smoke grenade in his mouth, and then the guy and he walks away, and it's attached on a long wire in his coat.
Yeah.
And then the other one, which is when he meets the mafia, and he's got it. It's like, they try to kill him, and he's like, don't, and he's got like fully fucking loaded to blow up to kill them all. I was like, that's the type. They need that in Star Citizen. I'm trying to think of how, ways you could deal with the airlock carnage scene. Do you know what I mean? I was like, we've got a few ways.
Airlocks are a huge bottleneck right now for first-person combat.
So how do you? Do you do it with one person? Is like in Lord of the Rings, they have the berserker. He just charges in and dies, and it's like his whole thing.
The only way, because it is a fairly realistic scenario. The only way you can really counter that, I think, is to have support come and attack the people who are attacking the outpost.
That, or you have the ability to break into the station via other means,
other
doors,
blow the windows off the hinges, blow the windows out, start throwing grenades into the windows. That's what I hope
they do. I hope they do that.
I'm more thinking about the people who are in there.
You can come in different ways, can't you? Is it Counter-Strike or the one where Rainbow Six Siege? I think it is, when they have the many different ways to get in. You know, you can put charges and blow up. They've done it with. They showed us with the denting, didn't they, Moist? And the they showed us
the doors. You could have like pre-designed like explosive hatches on the outposts.
Different
spaces, so you can like hit a button and then.
Now you're going to start wanting cutter tools so you can just and cut your own entrance into the station.
That's asking for too much. That's too much for Star Citizen. Shut up, Midget.
Do you know what? On a table though, honestly, on the captain's, whatever they do, not captain's table, but their little round table where all the guys sit together, they would do what we do, and that's probably someone would suggest it, and they'd be like, "Yeah, it's a great idea. We'll put that in. We'll make someone go."
Stop!
So you can have your...
Stop it! Chris Roberts is watching this. You're delaying Star Citizen by years.
I think we've done that already. I think it's all our ideas.
Madness, you know why they have their discussions on a round table? That way you can't corner them.
I'm so glad I've never been on the captain's table.
I just feel like I need to do the artificial glasses. Deal with it. Whatever it is, and then...
I'm already wearing glasses.
I like the way that chat's coming to my rescue. They understood what I meant by the grenade man, not a grenadier. It's a totally different concept. All right? I haven't seen anyone in the army going around with head-to-toe grenades hanging off them so everybody could grab one and throw it.
Of course they do. Are you an expert grenadier?
No, I'm an expert grenade man. I'm an expert grenade man.
Wasn't there a Bolton song, Grenade Man? About having to bring your own grenades to the formation.
That must have been maybe it was a Second World War thing. Dave, bring the grenades. Yes, sir.
Bring my styles.
Dripping in grenades.
Back in my day, we had to bring our own grenades to the war.
Now we just bring a grenade man.
Oh, I'm so drunk.
That was
and bed sheets.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Sam, I am.
Yeah.
PHX asks, what do you think the effects will be? We're going serious again now. What do you think the effect will be on third-party ship sales, such as on Reddit, Starhanger, etc., when in-game ship purchases go live?
All but the more rare ships will be LTI and rare ships.
People will still want LTI, I think.
Not until live, because in-game ship purchasing is going to be ship rentals, from my understanding. Like they're going to wipe ship stuff. So if you have LTI on your stuff, it's going to be more desirable when ship purchasing goes live because you're going to have to deal with the insurance stuff. So anything that's unusual, like a Dragonfly, a Yellow Jacket, or maybe if you got a Hornet with the F7A skin kit or the model kit applied to it, that'll become more attractive as well.
I think first of all, I thought them sort of sales were going to be getting kicked quite badly. That was until the LTI. That was until the LTI change. When they added this LTI change, I thought, well, there you go. They've just put it back into the third-party sellers again because I think they'll still, as long as you've got LTI, that sales are still going to go. No matter how much you tell someone that it doesn't mean anything or it does mean something or whatever, people will now go there to buy the LTI stuff. So,
well, there's two things with LTI. Either it's worth nothing, and you have it, and so what? It's worth nothing, and you don't have it. Well, so what? It's worth something, and you have it. Oh, great, and it's worth nothing, and you don't have it. Oh shit! So do you want to? It's just like if you want to gamble on that, or you just want to have it just as a matter of course. Like, I'd rather just have it just in case.
There are some people that because things change. Some people have it just because they want all their ships to be LTI and things like that. By doing the change that they did, they've added the market back onto the third-party sellers. I think. Because I think it was almost going to be a point where I wouldn't say no one was ever going to buy from them, but it would have made a big cut out on it. Whereas I think now it's like they've just fed it back into it, to be honest.
Yeah, Moise, can you put Simba and we get the music going? We can cue.
Sorry, hang on 1 second. I'm putting 500 point boost codes into chat right now. So if you're a part of the Gleam giveaway for the Space Bros giveaway, go ahead and enjoy those 500 point boost codes. Sorry for a shameless. Those are my last 3. They got to be used by tomorrow. There we go.
Good luck,
I'm
everybody.
getting a Simba. There we go.
Good luck, everyone. Just to put everyone's mind at ease, I remember that there was one giveaway that someone did something similar where one person had only entered once.
Yeah, that happened on my very first giveaway. One point they had, 1 point and they won. That was for a Nova Tonk.
So there you
I've had that too on some of the giveaways. I'm doing.
So there you go.
I got a whole bunch of free Steam gift codes. Not gift codes. I got a bunch of free Steam game codes, and a couple of the wheel spins were just 2 people, and I was just like, well, this person's not here, so you win by default. So you get whatever shit comes up. Congratulations.
Crap that comes up.
Yeah.
Wow.
But no, about the ship question. I agree. I think the LTI thing has just completely made it all a big thing again. So I'm with the guys on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't much care for it.
Sadly, sadly or not sadly. I mean, sadly, it's like but it's just because it just drives people to the grey market, and it's just again,
you're not directly supporting the funding. You're supporting somebody who's speculating on.
Yeah.
You're playing. You're not even. Go ahead.
Over time, people have made a shit ton of money on the grey market. There's people that have just done, you talk about invested in Star Citizen. They've invested in Star Citizen, but to invest in themselves, they've literally gone and bought tons of ship early, especially in the early days when the things like the Banu merchant and things like where they've gone up in price. Oh yes, people have made a killing. The ones that took that risk at the start.
Yeah,
it's crazy
for sure.
And they're simply enriching themselves. It's just greed.
Oh yeah.
But
I
don't care for it. But until CIG comes out and stamps on.
If I thought about it, I would have done it.
I would have done it. Good money, but
yeah, I mean, a lot of people went out and bought when the Dragonfly and stuff was out. People bought like hundreds of Dragonflies with LTI. They're just going, it's like money, printing money. Or like you said with the Banu and some of these bigger ones. If you did buy a couple of them, you're like, but you need the money. Like anything in life, you need the money to invest at the beginning. It was still good money. It was still a lot of money. It was a big, huge gamble to stick. I don't know how much it was, like £200 or something in English money
for the Banu.
For the Banu. When it first came out. So, I don't know, buy 2 of those. Thank you very much for the same price. I'm trying to find.
To be fair, I think it actually worked out better for people to buy the things like the Dragonfly, which was cheap, and then CCU them up into whatever someone wanted. That's what they were doing, and then selling it that way, so you don't have to put anywhere near as much investment into it.
That's what I did.
I'm surprised I'm surprised the Orion didn't go up in price when they announced it was getting bigger. Like they showed the new Orion. Here's the old Orion. Here's the new Orion. It's almost the size of a Javelin, and it's $350. I'm like, it should be $600 now or something.
But they didn't do it with the Cutlass either. They didn't put the price up on that.
Yeah, so. I was really surprised because they were doing it. They did it with some of the shit before, didn't they? They made it more expensive. It was more, and it was like, oh, this is going to be the meta now. This is going to be the standard.
It was Jared's con basically at Gamescom because he told everybody this is the last day you can buy the Cutlass before it goes up in price. And he said it, but I think there was 3 vehicles, and he said they're all going up in price after this, and then they didn't. It's like
they didn't. Good job. Don't even know if you can trust these guys when they say something. That just irritates me to no end. Like Chris Roberts says something 4 years ago, and then they come out recently and say, "Well, we've changed positions. That was our original position, but this is our new position now." And then Jared says something like, "Oh, these will go up in price," and they never do. And it's just like. I don't know what to believe sometimes.
I mean, the thing is, when a game does take this long to be developed, things like the idea you had 4 years ago definitely is understandable that your ideas will change.
Yeah.
Because it is such a long development thing. It's like, oh yeah, we never saw this, we never saw that. So, I kind of feel like
you start to see the gameplay implications of stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's all these and stuff. Like Sol, who comes on here a few times, he said it right from the start, and I think he's probably the most correct. Is like with the Banu, everyone wants their Banu, and he's right in terms of the longer they take to make it, the better the ship you're going to get, because once they have all the gameplay in place, and then they make it, they know exactly what they're doing. They don't have to go and rework and say, oh, we can't actually get cargo into this ship because we built it badly.
When I look at the Constellation now, even though it's been reworked, I think it looks so shit compared to some of the.
That is my biggest complaint. The older ships from 2012, 2013 just have serious design issues, engineering issues, fundamental. Like the Aurora, like it has a bespoke animation to get into the thing. Why doesn't it just have a little ramp that pops out? You just walk up, then you can carry a single box in there, set it down, and get into this pilot seat.
Didn't they say they were thinking of changing that now? So it's going to have steps.
Yeah, another rework.
Well, yeah, that's it. Exactly. Well, that's the problem, is it? And then they rework it until the next technology comes out and it goes, oh crap, now this doesn't fit with the repair mechanic. Right, we're going to have to rework it so it can be repaired. It's like, oh, God.
A lot of the ships from 2012, 2013, 2014. And that's why the Cutlass had to just be completely redone. They just had to throw the model out. They just threw the whole fucking thing in the trash and just said, okay, let's just
and now you've got
the
Cutlass red for the medic ship. Now that's fine until they build the medic mechanics and go, oh, yeah, actually, even now we're going to have one bed in the Cutlass because it doesn't fit.
And you're going to have all this space in one bed.
And then when they actually make it, it's going to be like, oh, it still doesn't work because this doesn't fit out the doors, right? Okay, rework the Cutlass again.
And where are we going to put the drone
Airlock.
seat thing that floats and picks people's body up? You know, how does that work? How does the drone find the body, pick up the body,
I know.
put it
Have to
inside,
go the
lift the
side
body
hatch.
inside? How do you
Because
get
it's
the
got
body
to go in
onto
an
the
airlock,
seat?
isn't
You
it?
lift
Yeah.
it.
I would imagine
then
that
it's
the
like-
drone is more controlled by a person, and you just have to go. Oh, sorry, you can't see me behind Simba or Vertigo. There we go. So you just go.
Can't see you behind any of.
And then
And it's starting to get. It's just going to be hair. Just
No, you don't
while he's
understand.
talking.
Like it only has
That's
one
his beard.
crew,
That's
and
his beard.
the drone operator is the person being picked up. So you have to guide the drone with your mouth. So you have to use free look.
It's like buying a ring for somebody. There, just that one, just to the left, to the right, a little bit. No,
Yeah.
right, you're right, not my right, my right,
No,
my
it's
right,
one
my
of
right.
those
my right.
grabby hand things you get at the arcades. Oh, Mr.
oh, they're rubbish.
Honestly,
They always let go.
honestly.
It's like, what is that? It's so weak.
But that's what the medic ship's going to do. Oh shit! I dropped it. Sorry,
Oh,
mate.
shit.
Sorry, mate, you weren't the 10th person I picked up. You have to be the 10th person I picked up to survive. If you're not any of those
They
numbers,
were
then-
alive until the claw let go, and then they dropped down dead again.
And it drops them. In which case, it becomes from search and rescue to a medical delivery. You're just delivering organs. He was an organ donor, so it's great. Well, it didn't on his license. It didn't say it was an organ donor. No, you don't realize. Like,
But maybe before you get in the pod thing, it'll make you sign a waiver so that if you die,
Yes.
your organs are forfeit.
I wonder if I'm just thinking someone could reenact. There's a movie. I think it's Naked Gun or something, or there's a movie where the guys died and they put them in the back of the ambulance. Or there's some cheesy American like hot shot or something where the guy
Hot
dies.
Shots Part 2.
And they try to put him in the ambulance, and they like bang his head in the door, and they're trying to get him in the back.
Sounds
of the
like
thing,
a
and then
Police
the door's
Squad.
open. And, or maybe it's Police
Brothers.
Academy or
Chuckle
something.
Brothers,
It's
isn't
that
it?
kind of
Rolls out.
cheese. It's that type of cheesy kind of. You can imagine people on cutlasses. This is like the budget version of an ambulance. So it's like just trying to. We didn't get the Apollo. We got the Cutlass Red. Shit, I'm fucked. I'm gonna die.
It's
Just
not the
kill me
Cutlass
now.
Red. It's the Cutlass Pirate version too. So it's like the really knockoff version. It's just got the red paint job, pirate paint job on it.
Oh, he didn't spend any money.
You see the pirate's got like a big cross in it, and then someone just put the first aid sticker on top. It's like, no, it's definitely a medic ship, guys.
It's just got spray paint. It's just got a spray painted red cross spray painted onto it. Freehand.
So much fun. But I just people get like just talking about the medic thing, like we spoke about yesterday last week, but people get so involved and it's so far away. Actually, somebody said to me in chat, somebody said to me, Bandit, you're wrong. And he said it took mining 4.5 months, roughly. I mean, that's just what they said. Now I don't know their reference of their 4.5
They were
months.
working on mining for some time, I'll have you know.
Okay,
So
but that's what he said.
I swear to God, I just had the dumbest idea. Like mixing the mining mechanics with like the medical checkups. Like it's nothing but a sausage party right now. So you're gonna have to get prostate exams. You have to press the Z key, and then your hand comes out.
I don't know where your head goes, HC. I thought I was random, but you're like another place. You're just thinking of the hand, like the probe device on the front.
I
of the
agree.
mining.
I like this idea.
The probe.
I guess I picked up the scalpel.
Oh, the probe sector.
Press left click to clench fist.
Don't. You're gonna make me laugh. Yeah, that's exactly it. Naked
And if you
pig,
hold it
right?
on for too long, your hand unclenches, and then we know that gets painful. So.
Oh my god, that's good. But yeah, the I can't get that image out of my head now.
The prospector probe coming out.
I can see the kind of the cheesy. I can see the Chris Roberts face, then the image, and then the prospector coming in, and someone doing the. Never mind. Move it. What was I can't even remember what I was saying now. It's completely diverted me. I don't even
Something
remember
about
what I was
mining?
saying.
Something about mining.
No.
Medical
Oh, no,
gameplay.
medical gameplay. I was saying 4.5 months. This gentleman.
4.5 months. Okay.
4.5 months it took to do mining.
About the second
Before you-
trimester.
We're genius.
About the second
And so
trimester.
So it's 4.5 months of a team to do that, and then because I was saying, oh, you know, medical gameplay's fucking miles away. Who cares why they're selling a ship? It's so they've got so many other things to worry about to get in game. Like seriously, who gives a shit? And then they were like 4.5 months. It's 4.5 months. 4.5 months. So I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. So you think they could do medical in 4.5 months? And I was like, well, let's compare the two type of game mechanics, shall we? So we have one which deals with the laser that comes out.
Damn it.
As a laser that comes out the front of the thing that it hits a stationary object. They have a scanning device that finds these rocks, and you fly up to them and you mine them, and then the numbers magically appear in your thing to indicate that you've developed cargo. In my head, it doesn't seem like a particularly complicated gameplay mechanic. So 4.5 months is like, okay, they did a really good job. I'm not knocking it. Fantastic, great introduction, mining. But medical is so much more complicated.
Nah.
Especially probing medical is so much more complicated. In my head, like,
remember that film where they shrunk the person in a little ship?
Honey, I shrunk
him
in
inner space, baby.
They should do that for
Love
the
that
medic
film.
gameplay. You shrink down and you go inside the person, then you go and heal them from
It's just
inside.
another
part of the person you're going
generated
inside.
universe you can go into. You can
If
take
they
your
did-
little ship, you have a
but if
little
they
Aurora
did
with
that,
a
then
drill
they-
attached to it.
But if they did
Voice
that, you
is
could
like,
use
I'm
the
not drunk
prospector as the game mechanic then, because it could be shrunk down and you still got the little thing that comes out and you can just start repairing
You have
people.
to zap it. You have to zap
Shrunk.
it.
End over. You're going in this way. You're going in rectally. Damn it! You didn't pay the fee. You didn't pay enough
It
money.
doesn't shrink you down very far. It just shrinks you down about this big. You just
It a tube.
you have to use an origin ship because it has less sharp corners on it.
600 high because we're worth it.
I'm going to point out now, I have not been
for
involved
your
in this
comfort,
rectal conversation
Scorpion.
at all.
This isn't happening. This isn't happening.
I do not want to be blamed
But
for
if
this conversation.
If we don't like it, we use a vandal ship for repair. Healing. Maybe the blade first.
Sending in the reclaimer. I'm sending in the reclaimer. We have to reclaim our lost soldier. Oh my god! This is CIG's fault.
Origin
I'm
for
blaming
their
you.
comfort because it's worth it.
This is where we've come to now. We've
Because
got
Oh
you're
my
worth
God.
it.
this level
Because
of just
you're worth
nonsense.
it.
I think on this
Fucking
point,
nonsense.
if no one else
Are
wants
there
to
any
talk
more
about
fucking questions?
if there's any more questions,
The driller.
we're gonna end it there.
Driller's
The
perfect.
fucking driller.
The driller. Oh my god, the names. The kingship. That's the one that you don't want. You don't want to get the kingship.
Oh my god.
That's a
Right.
big beast.
I
That's a
think,
bad
oh no,
guy.
we have got one question. Another cool guy. Considering they already have multiple texture layers for damage stakes on ships, do you think they will use that tech for damage on bodies and players?
I suspect.
I hope so.
I've heard
What, like
rumblings
your muscles
from
show?
maybe
like-
your
like-
undersuit.
Oh yeah,
Cuts,
yeah.
cuts through your
suits,
armor, you
yeah.
see your undersuit, then it shows your skin, then your skin has a texture applied to it where you see like damage to your skin. I don't know how detailed, if you're going to be blow someone's arm off and like Soldier of Fortune, I don't even remembers that game, but I don't know if you're going to be losing arms.
You might see like, I don't think you'll physically lose it, but it might be like they talked about it being unable to use it very well. Do you know what I mean?
See how
Like, if you're
professional we
Yeah,
are. We can
I
go
would
back to
imagine
normal
that-
chat,
yeah.
just like that.
Yeah, I would imagine that you're not able to use it a little bit, and then you wake up on an Apollo, for example, and you're like, "Oh no, sorry, we've had to replace your arm.
Someone's
Here's a
probing
what's
me."
it? Here's a what's it in the meantime, just a little like snub, cheesy
Hungry.
snub.
Just a hook. You just got like a really long. You got like a really long hook, like a little hook where your elbows. It's just a little.
Yeah.
little
Or like a mini hand, because we run out of actual. We ran out of
It's gotta
actual
go
arms, so we've
back.
given you a mini hand to stick on there. It's fine.
Oh my god, this is just literally we just insulted anybody.
We had to replace you with a miniature reclaimer. We had to replace your arm with a miniature reclaimer.
None of the views represented on the Asylum podcast are necessarily those of the Space Bros. Thank
Please
you very much.
remember. Please remember, we are currently in the asylum, so just about anything can go. Right, there's nothing else.
No.
Let's find out what everyone's up to before we go, because I think it's a good time to. So
Oh,
where
dear.
are you? Where can everyone find you guys? So Moist, we'll start with you. Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Behind a load of plushies.
About to play some more Star Citizen.
Are you actually going to
I
play
need
Star
more.
Citizen?
Yeah, it's not bedtime yet, baby. I've got like 15 minutes. I got an
It may not
Aurora
be
to fly,
bedtime,
baby.
but it sure is bad time.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, you can find us all here. There you go.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Summary done.
Twitch.tv/moist_needle.
Needle.
Noodle. Sorry, I've done
Medical
quite drunk
gameplay.
there. Medical gameplay. And also on Twitter at the Moist Needle, and I stream every day from 5:30 BST. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this evening on late notice. I must
No
appreciate it.
problem.
I
don't know what that
I love
was.
the way you just did that. That was like a DJ, like a slightly drunk person. No problem.
God.
I know drug dealers like you in the state. Moving on very quickly.
Vertigo.
HC, save me from myself. What I just said. What did you? Where?
You can find me at Twitch TV/HCVertigo, streaming 7 a.m. to noon, and then take a break, and then 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. That is Seattle, Los Angeles time zone. For those you don't know what PST is, apparently it's not standard time.
Apparently you don't know what BST is either.
For us, it is.
And you can also find me on Twitter at HCVertigo, and I do have a YouTube channel thingy, but I don't have enough subscribers for it to actually have my own little URL to tell people about. So we're still working on the YouTube stuff.
I love how there's whole bunch of us like Twitch streamers who, whenever we do Gleam giveaways, we always attach our YouTube, but none of us actually make any, or at least I don't make any YouTube videos.
We do.
The Asylum does.
The Asylum does, and
this is our content.
Have been doing. We played A Way Out,
we did.
part 1, the other day. Which was fucking shit ton of fun. We're going to be playing hopefully part 2 sometime this week. Before
I missed that. I saw you guys were streaming, but I was in the middle of something.
It will be on YouTube.
Playing a game.
We had a problem.
It'll eventually be on YouTube if you can't wait because we have to edit it and shit. So if you want to see last week's, it should be on our Twitch for at least, I think they give us a week before they rub it off us non-partner plebs. So you might be able to watch it on Twitch videos, but...
Yeah, I'm going to download it because I haven't done it. That reminded me. Thank you, Miss. I need to go do that tonight. Download the 2 videos so that we can. Because at the moment, what we had was we had all sorts of problems. You know, I planned it for months, and the fucking day that we go to do it, we go live. Origin online went down before we went live, so we couldn't even start. We were like an hour late because of.
We could literally have a whole podcast on why having online services when you don't need them fuck up your gameplay that you planned for months.
I had the exact same scenario with like Far Cry 4. I'm like, I'm gonna play Far Cry 4 today. Oh, sorry, Uplay's down. Well, I guess I'm never playing another fucking Uplay game.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. It was so frustrating. And then, but it did come back, and we did get to play. And we had the other problem, which was in between that time, was Moist Zoom. Now we pay for Zoom, right? We pay. Well, Miz pays, and I give him money. We pay for Zoom for and to do these video things because it was meant to be really good, but it's actually turned into a bit of a problem at the moment. So we're looking into alternatives, hopefully cheaper alternatives. But it was causing a massive problem. So we couldn't even get the video, could we? We couldn't even get like video to work. So we had to just stream like normally, like we would our own stream. So
I don't know if you know, but AstroPub is actually just using Discord. Video.
Yeah, I know. No. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just
that's
crazy
okay if you've got a screen for it. I think because you have to have a whole full screen. I think, but I don't know. We have to check it out again. But yeah.
So
I actually have a couple, Miz, because I know that you're local to me. I have a couple of 24-inch Hands G monitors, 24-inch ones at work if you want them. Cheap, super cheap. Cool. So. Just trying to hit my sales targets there. Sorry, everyone.
Anyone that needs anything, do hit the Moist up if you want to buy it. Curator of not just people. He sells all sorts. What's the latest weirdest thing that you've had to sell?
Well, not necessarily weird, but I've sold an Atari 520 ST today.
There you go.
Which was really cool.
Someone actually bought.
Yeah, £105 they bought it for, but I took out all of the this might sound douchey, but I'm a salesman. It's my job to make money for the charity. But I took out all of the expensive games, and there was a game in the collection. I took out about 12 altogether that were actually worth above £50 or more. And there was a game in there called Awesome for the Atari ST. That's worth £137. £137
on eBay.
Yeah. That's what it sold for the last time it sold on eBay in the UK, £137, which is insane.
So did you keep it? Is it in your?
Oh yeah, I've got a pile of 12 of them which I'm going to sell individually. So
Just check out eBay/Moist Noodle if you want to get up on these good deals.
Waste Savers. So I work for a recycling charity, but although it's a recycling charity, we do a lot of social justice stuff. So we basically help people who have learning difficulties, physical difficulties, and we help them gain work experience and basically just give them something to do, which is really cool, really, because they genuinely do struggle to get jobs. So it kind of gives them the experience that they kind of need to go into finding jobs. Sorry, I'll stop talking now. Go, carry on.
It's called Waste Savers, but every time you buy something from there, it's just creating more stuff in the house that I probably didn't need in the first place.
We you know what? We actually we saved something like 120 tons from landfill last year, which might not sound like a lot, but you know what? Like when you think like an Atari ST that doesn't exactly weigh an awful lot, that's a lot of shit we save from landfill every year. So yeah, incredible actually.
Keep passing the shit around is what I say.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, nice.
Who's next?
So
we did me, Ms.
I'll be not streaming a huge amount because I'm so busy with work. I'm sorry to say at the moment. But I'll try. Whenever I get a free moment, I'll try and stream. But I'll be doing Dungeons and Dragons with Miz until Miz leaves us. Oh, Miz is doing something. He's got some crazy cool thing that I'm very excited about, which I can't talk about because it's all NDA. But he's doing something.
You don't know because I've just said it's a secret.
That I don't know about it. That I don't know about it. I don't know. I know nothing about it.
It's like I got a secret project. There you go.
There's some secret project that I don't know anything about. So I'm very excited about the thing I don't know anything about because I literally know nothing. It's like brilliant. So I'm excited about seeing what that comes.
So funny.
Whatever it is, it'll probably be. I don't know. It probably won't even be that interesting. But whatever it is, I'm excited about it.
Probably not.
And then, but D&D, obviously, we're doing D&D. I've been practicing my new voice for my new character for Asnog's campaign because we probably haven't paused in one. So
can you give us a sample, please?
No, I can't. Yeah.
Come on,
don't do that.
Loosen yourself up. You can do it.
You gotta come. You gotta go watch the show, guys. If you want to hear the voice of the character, you gotta come watch the show. It's the way it works, I'm afraid. So that I'm looking forward to doing that. So I've been practicing that with my son, reading him stories and practicing the voice. And so yeah, I'm a big. I mean, I didn't like D&D. Like I thought it was for complete virgins that would never got laid. So now that I'm never getting laid, now that I'm not getting laid because I'm married, I figured I may as well do it. You know what I mean?
Married with 2 kids. Yeah.
2 kids. Never.
Don't touch me! Don't you ever touch me again!
Pretty much. Not until she wants another kid, anyway. Then it's all hands on deck. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. So Dungeons and Dragons and Star Citizen when I can, and I'll be playing No Man's Sky, and yeah, we're doing the Way Out hopefully this week. So we'll be doing some stuff, and then we'll put it on YouTube. We're over halfway through the year now. I know we want to do some other podcasts, kind of like this in a way where we
finally passed my sub count on YouTube as well. So if you haven't followed us and subbed on YouTube, please go and do so. We're getting there. We passed my personal one at least. So
it's content there. The thing is the most important thing is we've always said is that the YouTube channel has content, and now we've got lots. We've got the D&D. We've got this show, the Asylum one. We want to do more. It's just a matter of finding time. If people want to do stuff, again, it's like if you want to do stuff and you haven't got a place you want to put it and you don't think it's right, but you think it will fit with us, please come. We're very approachable. We're always interested. If you want to get like a little leg, we haven't got much of a leg to give you up, but we can always.
We'll give you a
little bit of a lift. I'll give you a lump of something you can step on to kind of move forward.
Oh, you sold that well.
We are.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm a great salesman. I'm not like Moist. He's a pro. I should have got Moist.
We'll get Moist to do the promo next time.
Yeah, thanks.
Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and ring that bell. Leave a comment below.
Yes.
Send all complaints to.
I don't know how to do the YouTube stuff. Click. Is it follow? No, hit subscribe. Like the video. Hit the like below. If you don't like the video, you know what to
hit
do.
The like button.
But in the meantime, make sure that you come back for the Asylum Podcast next Monday from 9 p.m. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Woo!
Farewell. Hey!
Great ending.
And Friday for D&D. Don't forget that one.
Oh, don't worry about that.
If you like D&D, come on.
Right, hang on. Let me just get rid of him.
Good stuff.
Right, so yeah, come and join us on Friday for D&D.
Sorry,
but
I'm
yeah,
on Grindr at the moment.
Thanks everybody for
I had 2 arguments on Grindr about Star Citizen today.
Oh my god.
watching. Yeah, we need to.
No
okay,
joke.
cutting it. Right.
Look at, I gotta show you. Like, this guy was called Bend Me Over, right?
Are we talking about medical gameplay?
Trim the video. Trim the video.
Hang on, I'll tell you in a minute once the stream's ended.
Right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Very much appreciate it. We're definitely stopping the stream now. If you want to hear the story, come back to next week's podcast. We'll discuss what was said afterwards.
Cut it! Cut!